Okay, g'day guys. Thank you for bearing with us while we get back on. G'day. And the delay's not that bad either. Wow. Wow. We're just waiting for Desert. Yeah. I just had to reboot the system like 4 times. But I won't give that any more energy because we are here now. Testing the Emergency Broadcast System. Welcome to the Forbidden History series. You're here with NinjaCat, and in a minute, Dezert-Owl. And we'll do another sound check, and then we'll get on with the broadcast. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. Um, yeah, there's so much. There is so much that Desert's got to get out on this broadcast. I just can't wait. I'm ASHAVORless already. Um, okay, so while we're waiting for Desert, I'm just gonna look at the chat properly. Oh, hang on, I hear noise. Okay. Desert, I'm just turning on your microphone. Okay, can we get a sound check for Desert, please? Desert.
Sound check.
Yeah.
Sound check. I'm opening up the program. Okay. Very good. Okay, and I'm gonna just put my normal opener in here. Thank you everybody for hanging in there with us. Appreciate
Yes,
that.
thank you. I'm just going to read out some names. I'm just switching over to live chat. Hang on. Okay, we got Vina, g'day. G'day, Yo, and Jackie, and Lynn, and the other two, I can't count at the moment, that haven't joined in the chat. Welcome, everybody. Everybody who's in the chat, everybody who's just listening, and anybody who's new to the channel. Um, Yay. Okay, let's get on with it. Desert, do you just want to? We'll just make sure. We'll just make sure. Do you just want to say something
Sure.
else? Yep. Okay, good.
Something. Okay.
Okay, good.
Is that enough? Was that
Yeah,
it?
just while I'm scrolling. Yeah,
All
I
right.
want to get this right. Yep.
All right.
Okay. All right. Let's get on with it.
Yeah. And we're gonna have when we have these quotes. Just so you know, at the moment we have some quotes, and so you don't hear anything because we want everyone an opportunity to read the quotes, ladies and gentlemen. Be right back.
Okay, welcome to the Forbidden History series. You're here with NinjaCat 111. 111. It's been a while since I said that by accident. You're here with NinjaCat and Dezert-Owl from Forbidden History Archives, and also the Forbidden History series YouTube channel, the original one. Um, okay, and I'm just going to read an introduction written by Desert. The Signs of the Times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time, who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were, and the ancient the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end, they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the old world order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it, but they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we most all are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, but they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And that was written by Dezert-Owl, who I'd like to welcome to the program. I'll just turn your microphone on. Welcome, Desert. How's it going?
Hi,
We're here.
Ninja.
Yay.
Great. Good. We finally got the bugs worked out. Am I coming through?
Yeah.
Audio check. Just want to double check. Right. You see me on the
Okay.
bar?
Yeah, I
You see me?
see you. And I just want to say
All right.
g'day to Fix It Fox and to,
Yeah.
did I see Joe? And Joe.
Okay. And everybody out there, hi. Good to be here with you all again on Friday on our broadcast. And we always seem to have technical issues because it's the nature of the channel, this particular beast. Okay, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Yeah, it's always right at the
we
start. Yeah.
we roll with the punches anyway. That's okay. We get it done. Thank you, Lynn, for the audio check, and thank you, Ninja, for opening up here. We're doing a recap. This is a recap for our 8-part series. Today is number 8 on the ASHAVORs, on the words that they killed us with, ladies and gentlemen. They killed us in our minds. They killed our ability to properly reason and to know things that we all should know. Just like this wonderful quote that Ninja produced for me last night. I drafted this when I was on the phone with Shelley, because the it's flowing. The doing the broadcast helps me to see things as I've not seen them before. We learn as we go here, spelling it out. In the process of spelling it out, then you see new things continually. That's the way.
Yeah.
That's the nature. Once you know the symbol, and once you know the root forms, and how and that it is based on the prime logo, of light, then all of a sudden everything goes back to the light. Everything came out from the light by the one who made all things. He has a design and a purpose. Okay. And so forget what anybody else wants, whatever anything anybody else wants to do, his purpose is to be accomplished. And so everybody else is dead. When Yeshua rose from the dead and conquered death, the age of golden light and reason came. A new age of light. See, now the occultic want to create their new age, because Yeshua ushered in the new age of pure judgment, of pure light, judging ourselves to be worthy of such a great opportunity to serve him. And so what happened was everyone died in relationship with the great one, because the old world is over, as it says in one of the scriptures. In the ancient time, uh, um, maybe in Hebrews, but you can look it up. In ancient time, the great one tolerated closing our eyes, tolerated what is classically called sin, but is properly closing your eyes. But now he simply commands all people everywhere to rebreathe with the breath of a star. That's repent. Rebreathe with the breath of a star, so we can have a relationship. We can rise from the death that we are in. Okay, there's two deaths: the spiritual, and then finally you go to the grave. There's your second death that it talked about in our scriptures. So all of our words, our ASHAVORs, are built on primitive root forms that we have all lost any key knowledge of. Okay, and that is the thing that we need to take note of. All lost. We all lost the key knowledge of who we are, where we are, when we are, and why we are. Yet the secret societies, they know, but that's why they took over the education, and you ended up graduating from school, a garage. What you put in your garage, right? You put all your garbage in your garage. You graduated. That's comes from the word landgarage, which is all the garbage they shoot out of a cannon in a sneak attack to prevent a ship from being able to lower its sails. They put all the garbage in the cannon and with rope and lead, and that's the garage. And that's why they took over our television, movies, education, the political, money. They control it all. The material world and creation is the symbol and the expression of the spirit of all life. Okay, I'll say it again. The material world and all of creation is the symbol and the expression of the spirit of all life. And I just want to add the word all creation, because there's nothing made that he did not make. That's what our scripture said. There's nothing made that he did not make. I think that's in the beginning of the Gospel of John. All things were made by him, and there's nothing made that he did not make. Okay, with one exception, that is with the false illusions that man has created, the false narratives. That is made by man, because everything that Yahweh made in the beginning was perfect. It wasn't good; it was perfect. And the word that was used in the Hebrew Strongs is Yaltzar. Wow, what a revelation! Yaltzar, meaning there was the product of a star. It was the product of the star that goes round. You get it? That everything came out from the light. And the ones who have the flat thinking actually can't deny all of this truth, that everything came out from the light. That's the foundation of scriptural teaching. And that's why we go around the mother star. And that OBS has been flickering for several broadcasts now, Lynn, and we're just going to have to deal with it. I don't know what the issue is. Ninja's gonna have to figure that one out. Ninja, you might want to do a YouTube search on that issue, because a lot of
Yeah,
times other
yeah,
people know about that stuff.
yeah. I
And
uninstalled
yeah,
and reinstalled again,
o-
and that
okay,
normally works, but it didn't. Yeah.
all right, very good. And so we're talking about in that the material world in all creation is a symbol and the expression of the spirit of life. What we talk about here are the AB seeds, the AB seeds of life, and it's really not ABC, it's AVG, and we've talked about that on the back program. We're gonna in this recap we'll review some things that we talked about, and we're gonna open up also some things we haven't. So it's gonna be a mix. I got all my cards lined up here so that I can go in a linear order and try to bring some of these points around. There were points left out that would have helped in certain presentations. And so the seeds of light are what we've been talking about. Seeds of light. That's what the alphabet represents, ladies and gentlemen. The seeds of light. Okay. And so let there be Zorain, because that's the original word, one of the original words. There are several types of words that express light. Okay. And that's the thing that we need to note that through time, the different avenues were created for thought, and many times the ASHAVORs or the words were changed. They changed because of a certain culture coming in, that type of thing, and so some words are modern creations, and then some are the foundation of the ancient creation. And let me just, while I was waiting for Ninja to ramp up, I was actually watching a documentary I like to follow, and it's by Praveen Mohan, Praveen, first name, then Mohan, Mohan, although he spells it all together, Praveen Mohan. And he's a fine young gentleman who's been cruising. He lives in India, so he goes all over to the ancient monuments. What a deal. And he takes photographs and talks about what he's reviewing. And some things I know he didn't get it right, especially about that Naga. That's the biggest enigma of them all that we talk about here, being that we are the serpent. And for some reason, he didn't see that. I'm surprised, being from India, but the lie is everywhere. Yet there was a gentleman on here that had a quote, and it was just right down below my posting a thank you for his video. And so, and this guy is clearly from India, because you can tell by his picture. His name is Samir Darkar, Shamir Darkar, and this is what he says to support what I've been saying all along. Okay, because it's all an open secret, and the people, most especially from India, know. Okay, and he says there are more. This is in the chat where you can leave your comment. There are more such similarities in mythological stories in various cultures across the globe. It could be possible that all these cultures evolve from one great grand culture and then get localized further with slightly different flavor. Yeah, flavor, different sounds in the ASHAVORs, different sounds in words, different looking pyramid, different looking symbols that express their truth, right? All of those things, and always having a priesthood, but always looking different in each culture. And then he caps it off with this: ancient India seems to be the mother of all humanity. How about that,
Wow.
Ninja? Huh? The mother of all humanity.
Wow.
What, haven't I not been saying that all
Yeah,
along?
and everything
Okay.
he said in that comment is true. Is true. Wow.
Well, it is. That's called what was called. Remember, I referred to the book by Stephen Knapp, which is called the Vedic Culture's
Yep.
Global Existence. You
Yep.
see
Yep.
that it is postulated and known to be a one world pyramid
Yeah.
civilization. Look at the Orion. He's pointing his bow and arrow at what is the alpha, the letter A, falsely called the bull, but in the metaphor it is a bull because that's the power. But it is a three-pointed star, meaning it is the symbol of the pyramid, and it's also the first letter of the alphabet, which is a pyramid A as well. And Orion, the Arion, is pointing his bow and arrow, saying this is where it all begins. So naturally, the primitives would have looked up there and said, Oh, look at Aryan pointing to pyramid. Go to work, slave. Let us start cutting stone and let us build pyramids all over the world. And that's what they did. You see, and that's why they all look different, because they wanted
Yeah.
each one to look unique
Yeah.
and not in common,
Yeah.
and as if they developed by themselves. And but yet, when we look at India, what we see is the most advanced stone cutting
Yes.
technology on the planet. Literally, that's where
Yes.
it all originates. And you can know that because India has the most primitive and developed, overdeveloped, unbelievable. You look at all the detail as one element. This detail within Hindu temples is mind-boggling. All the
Yep.
statues they continually cut, but then also the style of the pyramids, the temples, cut out a pure mountain, cut a mountain down and have a temple. Cut a mountain and you end up with a temple. What an amazing feat of engineering these people did back then. And that's the evidence that they are the most superior of all the pyramid civilizations, and we're engineering all the other pyramid civilizations. And yet the thing that shows Maitzar, falsely called Egypt, was their backyard number one political state. The pyramid that represented all other pyramids was the flat, straight pyramid, you see? And so the plane, Jane, but yet that was indicative of the star, the Orion, the Orion. And, so anyway, I wanted to, elaborate on that quote a little bit because it was perfect timing, for this broadcast here, Ninja. And
Yeah.
so Shelley, she wanted to know about Matrix. So I'm bringing that on, and Shelley's been doing a great job on our other channel, Forbidden History Archive, and doing all the graphics and everything. And so Matrix, I had talked about it in the past, but when she wanted to define it, then all of a sudden I said, okay, yeah, let's do that. And then I started looking at it, and I realized I saw some things I hadn't seen before. And if I hadn't forgotten, but I don't think I saw this one before. And it was the fact that Matrix, um, and I guess I should start typing now because it'll help people. So let me do that.
See and
Okay, so
read for
Matrix,
ourselves. Yes.
Matrix. Well, Confucius says, I hear and I forget, I see, and I hear and see and I remember. So let me do that. Matrix is, so what we have with well, it's matre. Okay, what I first saw was, see, you can tell X is a code, just like
Yeah.
extra is really ECH, ek, like eclectic, acknowledge, ecclesiastic, all of these things are in the ek, as in election, so that it's obviously the most important thing we are supposed to be doing, even though we know it's a fraud, in our governments. But anyway, so matrix then is correctly, now when I looked at that code, I said, there it is. Look at that, MA, and it leads right into the next word, MATRAY.
Oh, desert. I just saw
Matre.
something in that.
Okay,
Yeah,
you hold
please
on, just
continue.
hold here.
Please continue.
MATRAYARCH. Okay, and there we have matrix is matre. Remember I talked about the tray being the three, the tree, and the tray, or the all in one word, and it's the mother's tray, and it is a matriarchy. It's a matriarchy, you see, meaning it's about the woman, right? There's our Luciferian culture then. You see, the matrix is the woman, okay? And although being an illusion, it's questionable to say it's the woman because the woman represents the material world. So if it's the matrix within the material world, then we can still call it female. But the nature itself was female, and so that's where, if we just talked about the beautiful garden that Yahweh made, then we could call it a virgin because it's unadulterated, untouched by man. But then when man comes along, that's when it becomes the whore, because man went to work, he got busy, and his first motivation was to enslave mankind while following sensual appetites, right? The pleasures of need and want and more, and they wanted all eventually, and so it was more alls. They want more, they want all, and which is in contrast to ethics, of course. But anyway, so there it is. Here's the matriarch, and so the matriarch then becomes the whore, and so I defined then a little further that, and I think let me see if I got everything on that, Shelley, for you. Okay, so the matriarchy, then so therefore it's a Luciferian occult and not not of Yahweh. And that's where we get demons and devils and the Lucifer and all of these things that go bump in the night, but they're not real. They're created in our minds because the serpent is what they don't want us to connect with. How come they never talk about the serpent only at the very beginning of the story? And then it's like, okay, well, where did that serpent go anyway if he was such a bad guy, right? How come we're not seeing? Oh, wait a minute, Moses in the wilderness was told to nail a serpent up on a tree so everybody could see it, and then he went around with it on a cross. So maybe that's the most important image we should be talking about. And the serpent, of course, is the flesh. That's the demon. That's the devil. That's the adversary. That's the accuser. That's the Satan. If we use that word, Satan was used to corrupt the word serpent. You see, that's how the game is played. And so therefore, the Luciferian occult is not of Yahweh, and therefore not of the Father, not of the Father. That's why they call themselves in Masonry the widow's sons. Okay, the widow's son, because they killed the father. They occulted the son with their Luciferian moon in the darkness. They put us all in darkness. What more darkness could there be? Hey there, Jet. Good to have you. What more darkness could there be than to be denied access to the knowledge of who you are, where you come from, who you are, where you are, why you are, and what you are, where you come from, our source, and which is the light. And they demonize the sun. Oh, sun worship. Talk about the sun. Must be sun worshiping. See, they get that mantra going all throughout time, and it's actually a modern day phenomenon. Let's say the last 2,000 years, because the ancients knew, Kaiser, claimed to represent the sun. Mithraism all said that the sun was the symbol, the great logo of Ahura Mazda. Okay, the one. So he has a different name in another culture, but it's still the one. That's why the Persians let ASHAVOR, Israel, go free and go back and build their temple, because they all recognized they were following the same deity, just under a different name, but they all recognized the one. Okay, so going back to this matrix now and the woman. So the woman, it talked about, was supposed to be the helper. You see, it said that the woman, remember I talked about when Yeshua was having his feet anointed by Maryam, shortly abbreviated as Mary, the mother's ray, the virgin light, the mother's ray. Then she was begrudged for that expensive ointment, because the ointment represents truth, and it is expensive. And so then Judas, he begrudges her and says, "Why are you using that ointment when we could have sold it?" And he says, "Leave her alone." And what the real transliteration would have said was, "This thing that the woman hath done will be written about as a memorial for her." And so we're told that man, in the beginning, should not be alone. Man should not be alone, and therefore he made woman as the helpmate. You see, and so the narrow-minded guys without any depth would immediately think that means, she's here to do dishes and clean the house, and have babies. But that's not what it meant, you see, because woman, when it says that he made woman as a helper, as a helpmate for the man, for the Eshan, for the royal eye that came down, what it meant was the woman is creation, that the creation was designed in such a way as to help point the way back to the light, right? All the light is coming down, boom, and everything is dependent upon the light, and therefore it's all pointing back to the light, and it's all female. And so this thing that the woman hath done, what? The woman is the house. Just like a woman has a baby in her, well, the woman is the house itself. We are all in the woman, in the womb of the Eshan, you see, of the female aspect. And so that's all of nature. So this thing that the woman had done, why? Because that which has a beginning has an end. And the material world had a beginning and it has an end. So the woman is therefore, as the smaller creation will dissolve but so get not confused with the symbolism, because man and woman are in the same problem. We all have the same problem. We're down here and we have to go back home. But these symbols allow us to see the relationship we have with each other and within nature and within this and with the spirit. And because it's his handiwork. What did I just say a bit ago? The material world and all creation is the symbol and the expression of the spirit of all life. So he made the material world. So he made it with his signature, with his autograph, with his fingerprints. You see, so that it speaks about him. If we can only stop and be still for a moment and take a close look, because the flowers are representing the sun, and even the sea life under the water, different plants do the same thing, like the starfish, and then so it's a book. Okay, I talked about it in my interviews with Dr. Lorraine, that there's the cosmic book, and that's a perfect book because it's telling a story. There's pictures up there in the sky, and then there's the book of nature, and then there's a third book. Everything happens in threes, right? The other book is in your mind, okay? Because that even though all the scriptures are corruption, if you get focused, if you focus your eye to see the one, and he is the tree of knowledge, then he will open everything else up to you, because it's a great mystery. That's how it comes to us. So the occult, and I see you have a comment there, Shelley. I'll get it in a minute. So the occult gave us another woman, where Yahweh gave us the virgin of all creation, and we didn't have to get busy and become good working slaves and work for a corporation. And we could have lived like the native peoples on the plain or up in Tibet in the mountains, just with a few goats and a little herd, and grow a little garden, and we could have had paradise. But instead, they got us enslaved to their machinations. We built all the great industries that are now killing us today, right, slave? Of course. So Yeshua gave us the virgin woman as the helpmate, but then the Luciferian occult, fallen watchers, who are AKA the priesthood and the controllers of mankind, gave us the whore. So there's your distinction, ladies and gentlemen. What they don't talk to you about at the pulpit, they never define the metaphysics of our creation, if they touch it with the tip of their finger. But they're just quoting scripture and saying, put that money in the plate, come on now. But okay, so let me see here. I hope that helped you out, Shelley, on that presentation. Let me see what else you got to say here. And hey there to No Script, good to have you on the broadcast. And she's down there somewhere near Ninja, and I think above you, Ninja, isn't she?
Yeah, fair way above. A fair
Fair way
way above.
above.
I'm the bottom, she's the top.
Oh, right. Well, anyway,
Almost
that's still your backyard.
on the same side of the country
Yeah,
though.
compared to here.
Yeah.
And so she's Shelley's saying desert in Daniel, time of trouble. It says that trouble means a female rival. When you break it down their way. Okay, so you look that up. Yeah, I'd have to look that up, Shelley. But interesting point. Okay. Well, the enemy is, okay, in that aspect. You see, the enemy is the self. The enemy is the flesh. The enemy is the material world that we never can get enough of. Just like we have to eat every day, right? Eat food every day, but yet, if we want to live, right, in our automobile, our body, but yet Yeshua says to the woman at the well, give me a drink of water. And she says, well, who are you to ask when, you're part of a culture that has nothing to do with the Samaritans? And he says, if you knew who I really was, you would have asked me for the living water, and you would have never thirsted again. You see, so there's two kinds of food. And the serpent says, feed me, feed me, feed me. And we got to keep coming back to the well every day to get more of that feed. But yet what Yeshua is offering will make everything else irrelevant. Because that's why the people, when they were tortured to death, went to the burning stake, they had a smile on their face. They had something that we all need and we all want that could allow them to do that, you see. And so that's what everything is aiming towards, the spirit, because the material world, the matrix, the flesh is the illusion. Everybody loves their serpent. Love my serpent. Comb my hair every day, put on that fancy clothing, go around, and but yet the serpent is dying. It's getting old and it's getting tired, and it's going away. Okay, and so the question then would be, where are you going, ladies and gentlemen, when your serpent is wound up and put in the ground? Okay, and so and then I got just one more on this matrix because it's a I think a good cap off for this woman that we're talking about that is a demon in that sense, okay, and but yet the guy is right there with her, okay, so we're not excluding guys. Woman is just the symbol, but man is in the flesh too. And so Ninja, I saw this the other day with the words again. I saw because we talked about the Simpsons, and when I was
Yeah.
doing the review, I saw another element of it. And before I go there, I gotta. I had my Webster's dictionary out right in front of me, and I didn't even see it when I was doing the Matrix. I had one little more piece to read about the Matrix. Make sure I cover all the aspects of it, and it's in Webster's 1828. I was wondering, well, is Matrix in Webster's? 1828, and there it is, and it starts out as the matrice, and then that's the Latin for matrix. So it's actually in before they put the X in there, played the trick, the mother's trick. It was matrice,
That's what I
but
saw. Sorry.
okay, that's what you saw.
That's what I saw. Yeah.
All right.
The,
Well,
um.
but matre, you see, is also you can see is a form of that, right? Matrice,
Yeah.
matre,
I just
and
typed
so
it
the
in the
matre
chat.
is.
That's exactly what I
Mhm.
saw. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
so the matre is the three and the tree. So the matre is the most perfect in that, based on original thought. So the definition. So what it says is Latin matrix from matter. So matrix is Latin from matter, physical
Yep.
creation,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
matrix. That's matrice, and then it says matrix is mother.
Yep.
Okay, noun. And
Wow.
so
Wow.
the four definitions. I'll see where it goes. In Webster's 1828, the womb, the cavity in which the fetus or of the animal is formed and nourished till its birth. Two, a mold, the cavity in which anything is formed. That would be like the chimera, right? The chimera is made first out of wax, then they bury it under sand in a cavity. They bury the wax figure and bury it in sand, which fills up all the spaces perfectly, and then they pour the hot a tin and copper mixed together to create bronze. That's how they make um, the chimera in a matrix as well. And so a mold in a cavity which anything is formed, which gives its shape as the matrix of a type. Three, the place where anything is formed or produced. Okay, so a matrix then would be a foundry or a manufacturing facility, a place where anything is formed or produced as the matrix of metals. Gang, then it says gang. I don't know what that implies. Then number four, in dyeing, the five simple colors, black, white, blue, red, and yellow, of which all the rest are composed. That's from some encyclopedia or Ucyclo, blah, 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 that particular definition. So, yeah, well, he referred to a lot of books out of the 1500s, and so this is preserving a lot of that. Webster did an amazing thing. He created a round table and had like 40 dictionaries in this round table, and he just kept turning the round table on each new definition as he turned the pages of those dictionaries, and he had a real system to do this work. But anyway, so to cap off, before you can jump in here on Ninja, I think you had a word
Yeah, I'm ready to
yourself.
jump. I'm ready. Yep.
She's standing up right now.
I'm sitting.
Bart,
Yeah.
you're sitting good. Okay. Bart Simpson. Okay, we were talking about that, and then all of a sudden I saw it when I was doing the review, and it is. Um, you see a word? Come on, Ninja. You see a word in Simpson that out of the scriptures? Come on.
In Simpson, Samson,
Hey,
Samson.
Samson. Thank you very much. And Zilla, good to have you. I had emailed you a few days last week, trying to figure out what happened to you and to see if you're okay. I know you're going through persecution yourself to some degree, and a lot of funny business going on electronically as well. So good to have
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
And
yeah.
saying Planet X.
Good. You hear, Zealot. Yeah.
Yeah, and Planet X was called the Matrix. Planet X out of the asteroid belt in 1968 by the military industrial complex. It became a myth in 1969. Hello. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Thank you for that footnote there, Zealot. Way to go. Okay. So Bart Simpson. So if we okay. So here it is.
Yep.
Okay. Remember BARTSIMPSON. Person. But then so Bart is really Bar. Okay, and then we have Samson, S-A. Remember, the T is silent. It's the royal T. It's their sword they use to play the game on us. They kill us with their swords, and that's the T. So it's Bar, not Bart, but Bar, Sampson, Samson. Yeah, Samson, N. Okay, Bart Samson. Bar Samson, meaning born of Samson. So when the occult are playing their games with us, what they're saying is that they are born of Samson, right? The strong guy. They're claiming to, secretly, these Zionists, these following the Babylonian Talmud, all the actors and the cartoon producers, right, and the banksters and the Freemasons, they all are claiming to be born of Samson, born of the strong man, right? Well, at the same time, he had a little bit of problem, with the flesh at the same time, right? The first Nazaré was Samson, apparently, and he was symbolic. He was symbolic of the true purpose of mankind to come from that which was breathed in the beginning, the true knowledge, which after he was going around the millstone, having his eyes pulled out as the symbol that the flesh was blind, and he was blind, and then it said that his hair grew back, hair symbolizing wisdom, and that as he kept going around the millstone, going nowhere. What's happening when you're going around the millstone? You're going nowhere, till finally his wisdom came to his mind, came back, and he says, "What a stupid fool I have been." And then he takes the last energy of his life that he has left. He goes between the two columns, symbol of Freemasonry, Yakin and Boaz, and he pushes and knocks them over and collapses the entire temple because it was in the middle, and it said that he killed more of his enemy at that moment than he did in his entire life. And so it's expressive of the victory of light, that we have to knock down the walls of this illusion of the matrix, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
And I hope you can do it. Ninja?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow, that was amazing. Now my little word seems like nothing compared to compared to what you just shared, does it?
Okay.
Yeah, what I saw with Matrix that I put in the chat is actually bigger than what I have written down here before the program, but I'll say it anyway. Neo, you know that I've been wanting to bring up Neo. I changed it. Saw the anagram one, but
Okay.
as in,
Mm-hmm.
well, Neo being the one, I guess, is
Right.
the connection that I can make there. And
Okay.
also, what I saw the other day, what made me write down this word before you even mentioned you were going to talk about the Matrix. Um, yeah, wow, I'm just wowing at everything. Before you mentioned you were going to talk about the Matrix tonight, I wrote Neo down because I saw something else with the letters. They also stand for near Earth object, which I thought was very interesting with the blue beam and the holograms, and who knows what's real up there anymore and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what I got regarding that subject, and I'll save the rest of my list for a bit later on in the
Okay.
program.
Okay, great. Well, I typed in the different aspects of Neo,
Yeah,
and
neon.
he was in
Wow.
the Matrix, but you see, uh, but the point is he had the double he was playing I don't want to put it, he symbolized both our guy,
Yeah,
the good guy,
yeah,
yeah, he's our guy, but yet at the same time he was also, we see it in the second and third Matrix, he represents the Jesuit, and right
yeah, yeah,
at the end of Matrix, what he's wearing a Jesuit dress all
yep,
the way to the floor, black
yep,
Jesuit dress, and then he flies through the air doing that Superman thing.
yeah,
No bullets can't hurt him. You see, and that's them. That's the Jesuits because they're the secret. They're the most. They're the most superior at the top military force in the world. in control of the Jewish banking and of Freemasonry and Kabbalism and all other occultic cultures as well. So the Vatican is the the people get stuck with the Bilderbergs, or they get stuck then they finally get to the Queen of England, and they get stuck there, think she's running the world. Then they finally figure out it's banking. That's why she bows down to the Lord Mayor of London in the 66 squares of the city of London. But then in the Catholic Encyclopedia, it says that the Jewish banking is the protectors and defenders of the Vatican Trust. So they do what they do by decree and by serving. So what's behind the Vatican, right? Because that's where everybody that can finally figure it all out end up. But it is the ancient Aryan Brahmin. Brahmin is a corrupt word for the word sovereign. So it is the Brahmin priesthood is the sovereign priesthood of the Aryan race that conquered the world and built the pyramid civilization. Then they hide behind other images, just like when you see the Dravidic small black or dark brown, Hindu. He looks Aryan by feature, but yet he's brown in skin, and so he's the front guy representing the ancient sovereign Aryan priesthood. So you see the brown guy, that's called the black sun again. They're over to Aryan, right? It's an eclipse over to Aryan, the black sun, and so that we don't get, but you go just do a search actually on YouTube on northern India for Aryan races, and it'll blow your mind that the culture that's still there that reflects this Aryan ancestry. Okay, it's there, and
Um,
so that's the unseen. That's the unseen. Well, let me finish my point. That's the
okay.
unseen hand. Okay, what I'm talking about behind the Vatican is the unseen hand, and so you may remember when you've seen pictures of Paul McCartney and the other Beatles, and Paul, he's the only one in their photographs that puts his hand inside his shirt, right? It's called the unseen hand, or
Yeah.
also the hidden hand.
Yeah.
And then you saw
Prince
those
Harry.
pictures of,
Prince Harry.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then the pictures from the 1800s during the Civil War. You saw Lincoln standing in front of a military tent with a couple generals or officers on both sides of him. Both of those officers have their hands inside their shirts. Have
Yeah.
you ever seen that picture, Ninja?
Yeah. Probably.
You seen?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, more common here for the Americans, but so anyway, so what it is, they're giving the high sign. They probably
Yeah.
said, "Mr. President, let's take a cameo shot of right now. We got our cameraman here," and so those guys are putting their hands in the shirt, letting their boss know, not the president, the real boss,
Yeah.
that, oh, by the way, we got this guy under control. Don't worry about it. So they take a cameo photo like that. You see, so when you see the hand inside the shirt, that's means they know who they're working for. Even though they're little puppies and peons on the lower echelon, they still got the picture. They know what they have to do to create the symbolism of they're the players and we're the peons. So that's why they shot Lincoln in the back. The Knights of the Golden Circle, which worked for the Vatican, and Booth was a part of that, as well as Jesse James and others. He became Clark and even formed Clark County, where Las Vegas is today. Jesse James had about 70 aliases, but that's why Booth was so brave after he shot Lincoln in the head to jump down on the stage and show his face. He wasn't afraid because he was of the Knights of the Golden Circle, and he had complete immunity because the Vatican was going to save him, and they killed some other guy in a barn and said that they got his body out, but that was Booth, and it wasn't. Booth got away, and so that's another story for another day. So do I go on then, Ninja, or what? Were you
I
trying to?
also wanted to add to the India thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was. I don't
Hold
know.
on. Let's put another picture up, okay? The quote. This quote
Okay.
goes at the beginning of the program. When we're talking, I don't want people, reading. So let's go for a nice graphic of some sort, or that we can just meditate on while we're talking.
Okay. I'm just
Uh,
trying to find one.
all right. So go ahead. Give me your talk while you're doing that.
Yeah. I wanted to add to the India thing. I can't remember what I was doing on YouTube, but I was doing a search on something, and uh, the whole search list came up with channels starting with Asia, and it was all Indian channels.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. See, that's where it goes. They know it because it's an Eastern word. It's an Eastern culture, and they're preserving it right there. That's That beautiful. Thank you. That's what we found. I found out first. As the Father always does with me, He lets me see it, with my own eyes first within. I saw the word, knowing the A was the prime letter, and then the letter I became the blind that covered the A. And then, so then I realized that the original word was Asia. And then all of a sudden, as you remember, it started coming up in different ways. And we,
Yeah,
got some books that even had Asia in it and stuff like that
yeah.
as well. Yeah. Okay. What happened to all those other graphics from all the, those audios of those nature films on Ninja? We had all those beautiful music, and they had all those graphics. Can we get, some really profound nature scene going? Because we see this all the time. I'd like to see something different out of the collection. You got a pretty good collection going on, right?
Yeah, I just haven't had a
Huh?
chance to get them all into
Oh,
the
gotcha.
OBS.
Then we're,
Yeah.
they're not an OPS. Gotcha. Okay. Right. Okay. Then let's stay
Please,
with that. Okay.
please, give me the sunrise desert.
You have all the
Yeah,
sunrise you need.
thank you.
She's give me the sunrise. She's covertly, saying I'm sorry. You see, that's the original thought, but we're just making lemonade out of lemons, Ninja. You know that. But the thing was, I didn't want them reading that quote. I was getting distracted by that quote, and I like some good pictures, up that we can produce. And you're doing a great job. And so
Thank you.
diction. Okay, so diction. The There's that logo again. You see the logo that nobody gets the picture of. What that represents. That is the source of everything that we see around us came out of there. Okay, look around your house. Everything originated atomically on the atomic level from that symbol, ladies and gentlemen. Let's find it. Let's find it. I've been looking at it for years, and just find another one that's got some real nice scenery in it. And but so diction is a corruption, okay, and it is lection. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there because this is the hardest thing for us to wrap our mind around, because the D, as you know, is the dead letter, the death, doom, destruction, dirt, dead, die. All of these things come out of this. So you can see in the word diction, the Ction, which then should correctly be Liction. Lection, no, lection, Lection, and then, but it is correctly Alection. Okay, it's election, and that's what. So they got us going to an Lection, election. You see, but the Eve. There's that Adam and Eve again. The woman replaced the spirit, the matter, material, and so the E represents the material world, Earth. E for Earth. You see, and so the
Wow.
election becomes
Yeah.
the election. The atom, Atom, Adam. Then it becomes the E. A becomes the E, right?
Yeah,
Ninja, were you
yeah.
trying to jump?
No, that's just making it clearer for me. Thank you.
Okay, you
Thank
bet,
you.
you bet.
Seeing
So
it.
yeah,
Thank you.
I've gone over this before, and
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
know.
trying to really do
Yeah,
the good cap off here
yeah,
on our recapping. We're trying to make all the final
yeah.
connections with this. So the A lection, as we see, there's your word for lecture, for e- uh, elective, or eclectic. Lek is, we can see lick. If you change the vowel, you get lick for tongue, for speaking. So we can see the A lection. So naturally, the A is the first letter of the alphabet. It is the beginning of creation. It goes from infinity to infinity. Now, and it's the expressive symbol of the creation that came out from the light. And so it's the A lection. And so what do I have on my note here? So I put, and so I say that, okay, so it's the election of the I, okay, the election of the I. The A is the I. So the election of the A is the A election. It's the election of the I, because we have to see, we can't communicate, right, if we don't see those letters on a page, if we can't interpret them. So we're using our eye always, and that's why it goes back to the eye. That's why even the Freemasons put the all-seeing eye at the top of the pyramid on the dollar bill. They're blind as all get out, because they're not seeing things from a spiritual level. They're seeing it from an occultic secret society. Did you get Bondi Gandhi Rashish's latest book? Yeah. Yeah,
I
did you
love
see
how you
those
say
symbols
that.
in there? Yeah, memorize them, okay? If you want to be a 33rd degree, you better memorize them. And but they have no real spiritual. They call themselves, sons of light and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
they're the mother sons of darkness by definition of Masonic means mother sons of darkness. It's the great wordplay. So we need to be able to define the lection. And so Adam, as it says in Strong's, his other part of his name is Dick, and so then you've got the prime root of diction and dictionary and dictate and all these things from Dick, and so but we know that it would have been correctly lick or lek. And so that's how they change it in Strong's. There's your Hebrew lies, because the priesthood are nothing other than liars from beginning to end. And you can't get the tree of life from a dead tree of lies. A tree of poison fruit doesn't bring you life. It brings you death. That's all it can bring you, ladies and gentlemen. And so getting the picture here is important. Just like, I think many people, if they're halfway deep Christians in their own right, in a sincere, tone, then and they're trying to figure things out. They probably have heard that the original Christians supposedly were called the people of the way. Have you heard that before, Ninja? The way of the
Yes.
way.
Yes.
Okay. And somehow then we find it in our modern time becomes converted into Christian, which really is an
Yeah.
occultic word. It's not actually the original word, and it literally I discovered years ago, before I became a political activist, before I did all this broadcasting in my early studies. I found out that basically Christian implied being anointed with urine in the occult rituals. You see, it's an anointing, but it's anointing of urine, and that's why the water that came out of Yeshua, when it said that Yalganun bore witness that both water and blood came out. Well, the only way you could see water coming out, because if you were cut in the side, only blood would be coming out. But if you were pierced in the kidney, guess what? There'd be a stream of water coming out, and the blood would be dripping down, and a stream of water would be going past the blood that's pouring out. You see what I'm saying? That I remember seeing an operation one time, and they were putting the kidney in there, and when they cut the kidney, that it shot right up 3 feet in the air. 3 feet in the air. The pressure that's in the kidneys. That's why you can urinate, because you got pressure built up in there. You see, and then you go, I got to go to the bathroom. And so my point is that when the blood and water both were coming out, and one of them was urine, it was referring to the secret societies, and it was saying that two cultures are going to be coming out of his side, just like it happened in the beginning, right? Out of Adam came the woman, but then we found out there were two women, right? One was a virgin, one was the whore. And so that's what Yeshua is saying again. Out of my side is going to come two types of people, one that are of the earth and one that is of the spirit. You see, that one that's of the blood, my blood, and one that's of the urine and are cultic, you see? And therefore, that's part of the great mystery, and I'm the only one that probably has ever define what that water is,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're not going to see water mixed with blood coming out. Only the kidney can produce that type of an imagery, you see. And so in the code, and yeah, and I don't care anymore. I used to keep all this stuff to myself, thinking, who in the world, mainstream Christians are never going to accept this, but I don't care anymore. I'm gonna say it the way it is, the way I know it is, because I've been studying this all my life, and as you know, in this broadcast, we reveal the things that nobody else is talking about, and we nail it to the wall. Okay, and I give enough substance behind it so that you can know that you can know that you can know, and you won't believe anything, because believe means to give a little credit to something, and that's Latin, and so we define all the terms here, and so people are going to have a revolution in thinking. Revolution. They're going to have to pretend you don't know anything and start over, because everything we've ever learned is a lie. They control our diction. Okay, that's the bottom line. And so so I'm going to type in here now the word. So Levi is the term we're going to deal with, Levi, and it's a corruption. Now I'm going to show the corruptions. Okay, and it is Lavay, and then it is correctly seen like this, La. And there's even a guy, the most evil man in the world. Well, one of them goes by the name. Okay, but I'm not doing it yet. Hang on. And then we got this going on. Wait. Okay. So there we go, and also known as the people.
Yep, I remember that. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, the people
Wow,
of the
it's
way.
good to see it again. It's good to see it again
Right.
because there's so much. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see what it is. So they had to corrupt Levi, but we know Levi, excuse me, um, Levi is also synonymous with the bridge, and therefore that is symbolic of, okay. And so the bridge. So what was unique about the Levitical priesthood? Because if we're the people of the way, then they would have been using that word leve, the people of leve. That's how they would have, said it more in the Hebrew or in the Aramaic, the way. And so there's no W. Remember, we've gone over all that. It is a V. It's a cover for the V because they don't want us to get the root forms, and then we can figure things out how the game is played. And remember, the Levitical priesthood owned no property. Because that was the false promised land. That was a type of promised land. It was just the land that flowed with milk and honey, meaning you need to read the symbolism in there because it's telling the story about a higher, that which is below is reflecting that which is above, right? So on this story with Israel, it was a type, but it was not the real promised land, and that's why they lost it, right? Because it wasn't meant to be, because it was of the lower echelon, the lower illusion, the lower world in the fall. So leve then, meaning the way the way is to cross over the bridge. We have to cross over the bridge, go that way, and by what bridge? The bridge between earth and spirit, between matter and spirit. And so then we're not of this world, and that's why the Levitical priesthood owned no property, and everybody from the tribe of Israel gave them a portion of what they had. So they were like the footstool. They were the ones serving the Levitical priesthood. Levitical priesthood then was serving them at the same time for spiritual truth. You see, as best as they could, I guess, but in the illusion, that they were in. Okay, so that's again defined right here for the first time. I never heard anybody define this before, and I know it's true, correct, complete, not misleading. Okay, it's based on primitive root form, the original root forms, and I reveal the code, how they corrupted it. Levi, they then have fun. They gave us some genes, called Levi Strauss, but then the genes, they call them genes because it's in our genes too, right? It's all in the game, the word game. So that's the original thought, a leve, the people of the way, ladies and gentlemen. And so the people of the way, then what that is more correctly defined as would be then the people oh no, I'm wrong. The circle of the circle of the called out ones. Okay, the circle of the called out ones, and so that's enough with that GIF, Ninja. Golly.
I
And
had to. I had to. You said it's in our genes. I
that's
had
enough with
to.
that GIF. Yeah, it's distracting me. Okay, and so if you can still it, that would be better because that just is. I can't look at that and,
Yeah,
and
I
do this.
can't do it at the moment. I can do one
All
for
right.
that for the
Yeah.
future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that so what is the circle? Ninja, do you have that other quote with the sun and the logo and the symbol? The circle. So we call ourselves a circle when we get together, a circle of people, but it's primarily called circle because it is also circle of the sun. You see, the sun is the first circle, and so again, microcosm reflecting macrocosm, macrocosm, microcosm. Okay, and yeah, thank you, Ninja. So okay, so that's how we have to associate then the terminology with an image somewhere because the images go. Now, what is circle? It was created. It was corrupted into the original in the occultic is KIRK, and then we find that in STARTRECK. Oh, no, TRECK. Okay. And so Kirk, we find in Star Trek, there's the church of the occult on the round. Remember, they're on the round disc. Kirk is on the round. The Kirky, the Kirkle circle is on the round disc on the Star Trek Enterprise, right?
Yeah.
Enterprise. And so business is good.
Yeah.
right? It's an enterprising thing for them. And so James T. Kirk, there we got James as seed of light. Yalkove, James is Yalkove, that seed of light. T for the cross, the royalty, right? There we nailed the T now as the royalty. Why I hadn't seen it sooner, that the word royalty was implying that the T was royal. I missed it until we did this series, Ninja. This is when it all came on that one. So James T. Kirk, and so Kirk is the circle of the sun. You see, they're claiming to be of the light, but they're mother sons of darkness. Then you got the Scottish right there, Scotty going on. Uh, Scotty, I'm in trouble. Beam me up out of here as quick as you can. Aye, aye, Captain. You got the Grand Howling sign. Give me the Grand Howling sign, Captain. I'll get you out of here right away. We'll beam you up. Scotty, Scottish Rite, Freemasons. Get it, ladies and gentlemen? What a joke, right? They're all there stroking their lingams, in their temples, just having a party on all of us. I can't get over it.
Um,
What a world.
I saw,
What?
yeah, you made me think of something I saw on Mr. MB333
Uh
um,
huh.
the other day. I think it was one of the hologram ones because it was really big. It was the shape of the Starship Enterprise in the sky, like in the
Yeah.
clouds. Yeah,
Okay.
but it
Uh
was a
huh.
prominent
Sure.
shape, and so that
Yeah.
backs up what you're putting in the chat with Kirk and Star
Mm-hmm.
Trek and the
Okay. Very
circles.
good.
And yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So as we continue, I was hoping I could watch another movie for today to do another review, but I didn't get a chance to, Ninja. But that's what we're doing periodically is we're giving the review. We done it on a couple of the past programs, so just go back and listen, friends. And want to welcome any new listeners that we have here as well. I don't know how long have we been on now, Ninja. Maybe we should go do a break and then we can come back.
just over an hour. Yeah,
That's a good time then. Okay, let's go to give me a 7 minute break, and then everybody else can, take a break as well. Then we'll be back with part two. I've got a whole bunch of cards in front of me, so we just ramped up. We just primed for the rest of the program, ladies and gentlemen. And so hope you can stay
can't
with
wait.
us. We got ASHAVORs for you, okay? And it's what they didn't want you to know, of course,
That we tell right here.
because
Yeah,
somebody's got to do it, Ninja, and that's why we're here.
that's
All right.
why.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, we'll
Okay.
be right back.
Yep. We'll be right back,
Back to you.
guys. Okay, welcome back. You're listening to the Forbidden History series with NinjaCat and Dezert-Owl. Sorry, I thought I'd accidentally hit mute. Um, yeah, and Dezert-Owl, if you're new to this channel or you've just joined, there are PDFs available to help you comprehend what we are sharing here with you. It's not being spoken about anywhere else except on these channels. Um, okay, any size donation is very, very welcome because we do not get paid to do this. We do this because we have to and because we love to, and it's a message. It's Yeshua's message that we're getting out. So, uh, any size donation will get you a copy of the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary written by Dezert-Owl, and also a sample of the original Gospel with a more up-to-date version of the dictionary at the back of it. And there's also the Book of Wisdom available, which is absolutely brilliant, a brilliant read. We just ask that you request one at a time, but we're happy to get you all of them, but just request one at a time. And if you can't afford to donate and you would like copies, just ask and we will get them to you anyway. All the contact information is in the description on every one of these live streams. And if you haven't subscribed already, please go and subscribe to. Have I changed it? Oh yeah, I've changed it. Please go and subscribe to Desert's old channel, the Forbidden History series. That's what we're continuing with here now. And also Forbidden History Archive, where Desert is currently broadcasting from. If you go back to June 21st on the Forbidden History series and start listening from there, it will help you see a lot easier. Desert goes right back to the start and explains everything from the beginning, which is also what we're attempting to do now as well with this series on the ASHAVORs, on the words. Desert's going over a lot of stuff that I remember him doing back then, but I couldn't see what I see now, so it's even more wows. When I see these things again. Yeah, so all links are in the description. Please go and subscribe. Welcome back, Desert. Hang on, I'll just got to turn your microphone on. Welcome back, Desert. How's it going?
All right, Ninja. Thank you. It's going where the world is turning, at least in my book. But but you know,
Sorry.
when everything is made upside down and reversed, then what we find in the word reverse is we get backwards, right? And so look at that. Isn't something interesting about the backwards? They wanted us to remember that somehow words should be
Oh,
read
wow.
in reverse, backwards, right?
Wow,
And
so that brings me to forwards. What about forwards, Desert? Sorry
right,
to
forwards, yeah,
interrupt.
the enemy's words are forwards. You see, right? Because it's a foe, friend or foe, right? Foe,
Wow.
foe.
Huh.
Even though we say for, we
Yeah.
say forwards, right? But you see the word foe is in the prime element right there,
Yeah.
and yeah. So that's just an interesting enigma. You know, I'm not
Very
going to make a
interesting.
lot, but it fits with like read means re-add,
Yeah.
the riddle re-add, and the history is um, the silent story. It's Welsh for silent story, but you hear the hiss of the serpent, hear the hiss. So the silence in this story may be the fact that they're not telling us who the serpent really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
yeah, I never knew a snake that could put up a good argument. Like when I was catching them in Colorado to have dinner, they didn't say, "Hey, by the way, I don't think you want to eat me," okay? They didn't say anything, but they did hiss. Um, but anyway, uh, yeah. Okay, so
Yep.
what we're talking about in this presentation, that's what we do,
Yep.
is we're talking about a science that nobody is talking about, and a science that is based on the original thought. Okay, there is no, the only written record we actually have is the alphabet itself. And then as we see ultimately Aramaic appearing on walls, on walls or on tablets, clay tablets, or on reliefs on the side, but the trail was covered. They, like, in other words, the Aramaic basically stops going back with the Hittite civilization, and so from that point on, it's all a mystery, from that, because and it's covered. It's done on purpose. It's not done with by accident, because the preservation and the legacy, in other words, the whole idea would be to preserve everything. Well, I'm sure it's preserved in the mountains of the Caucasus Mountains, or in the mountains of Tibet, in the caves and the underground, tunnels, and or in the the best monasteries, But you know what China did when they took over Tibet in the 1950s? They literally destroyed 50,000 temples, Ninja, 50,000.
Wow.
And there has been and Islam, of course, was used to destroy the temples in northern and central India, with their phony invasion for the unseen hand, and then they also destroyed the Alexandrian library. And the Islam is the one that took off the shiny white stones off the Gizar pyramid, and destroyed all those facial features on the columns and other parts of the temples. Wherever you see a face that was destroyed on an ancient relief, like in Mezar, Egypt, or on the Silk Road, and in going towards China, all of that was done by Islam, because they don't allow pictures, and so they were used to destroy. I think the objective was, the why reason they got them to do it. The unseen hand got them to do this thing, was because it would have helped to cover better the Aryan Trail, because a
Okay.
lot of these reliefs would obviously be Aryan in nature. But what we do is we're dealing with this exact knowing. Science means exact knowing. It's not theory. It's based on primitive root form that is with us in our modern time. I'm so grateful for Waddle, who gave two classic dictionaries and discussions from the 1800s. The first book I have in my hand here is The Aryan Origin of the Alphabet, The Aryan Origin of the Alphabet, disclosing the Sumero-Phoenician parentage of our letters, ancient and modern. That's L. Austin Waddle, and he claims that the Sumerians were a sister culture to the Mitzrayim, falsely called Egyptians, and that he says we are speaking today 70% of our diction, our modern English, goes right back into Sumerian, or AKA Aramaic, AKA Indo-Germanic mother tongue. And then he also wrote a Sumer-Aryan dictionary. Okay, so there were no Anunnaki, there were no aliens, there were none of those things that go bump in the night in our minds, but it was based on who we know to really exist, and who exists is a race of people that put the serpent on every day and go to work, and but they disassociated ourselves from those people. They actually, convinced that like that last YouTube that came out off of Deborah Tavares' channel, where she's interviewed by the people of Camelot. And remember, signs and symbols rule the world. And I always knew, that those people with Camelot, were, the right hand, left hand, because the image of the leopard, the spotted leopard, that's telling you who they are. You see, spots all over them, and they're representing the ancient culture. And so when whatever her name is, I can't remember, on that program that was interviewing Deborah, then she started going off on a tangent of, oh, well, yeah, we know that aliens, have, oh, yeah, the government, the United States government is in a secret battle right now with the aliens. They're fighting it out. And at the same time, then the fires in South America, she said, were started by lizard people. And then ultimately she tells Deborah that and when she's saying, well, we need to create good energy. We need to create good energy and think positive and become one with the source. That's how she calls it, the source. But then Deborah says, well, I think everybody should also include pray. And then the woman says, well, they don't want you don't want them to pray. You don't want them to pray because they're equal with the source. And of course, you see, that denies the truth of the
Yeah,
scriptures, that
yeah,
we are actually in the fall.
yes.
We're not one with the light. We need to be one with the light. And so she's making out, that
We're
she's already.
already
So
there.
I wonder what book
Yeah,
she's reading,
yeah,
because she didn't mention what scripture she was reading,
yeah,
but it sounds like very much the occultic Eastern Star philosophy
yeah,
of voodoo and hoodoo and voodoo and worshiping matter instead of the one who made it.
yeah,
And not to bow down to the sovereign of the universe who made us, that we shouldn't give honor to him. And she never named her source either. So that's rather interesting. And when you think about it, called him source, but didn't name her source. But we do right here, when we
yep,
actually spill the beans on all the ancient writings and the meaning of the ASHAVORs, the words. Okay, so you must know the symbol. If you know the symbol, then you can begin to define the terminology that is being used based on the symbol. The parent root forms, one letter form, two letter combination form. Just like, okay, example, Ninja, we talked about the AR, and so AR, and then we find this uh, combination in a most profound way in right here. Okay, there, Ararat, right? RR at, ARR at. And so what you have is, remember the AT. Um, well, okay, so first of all, AR means royal power, because the R is the prime root for royal. But so AR, implies power, and the power would be power of light, because that is the only power. And then the AT then represents creation. Okay, so literally, this spelling of Ararat is a code, and
yeah,
the AT is the code for the alphabet, and the AR is the code for the solar power. But because solar power, the sun represents a day, represents a year, and can also represent a great age, then this royal power, which is represented as light, the logo, then it literally means. So when it said that that Noah, no correctly, Nova landed in the face of Mount Ararat, it had a double meaning, because it literally means that he came into second SEC. He came into the second great age. At, two sons, creation. You see, the second great age, I should have added, of
wow,
creation. Okay, the second great age of creation. And so that's how you read the code. Okay,
yes,
we know it's true, right? He went from one age before the flood to the second age. He ushered in the second age. Nova, what does Noah mean? N-O-E in the Septuagint, N-O-A-H in the King James, and then it's correctly N-O-V-A, which then means N-E-W-A-G-E, the new age. The new age after the flood, the second great age. Noah is Nova, a new star, a new N-E-W-S-T-A-R, new star. That's the new age. You see, its time is reckoned by the sun, and so also by the moon, of course, in the ancient world. But we went into the solar with Yeshua, because he gave us the light. He gave us the sunrise, right? The sunrise, a day without end. If we want it, we can have it, and move out of the illusion of time. Okay, so science is exact knowing, and I give you an example right there. I revealed the code. Okay, and nobody ever showed me this other than Yeshua himself, my tree of knowledge, because he has taught me the code through a long process of time. And so just like, okay, so we use the word, when something is of something, we can say it's from something, right? From, right? Of is from. You can see that, Ninja, can you?
yes, yes,
Okay, it's an esoteric thought, because we can't quite get a picture of the word, of the meaning of, right? You can't, Like when we talk about age, we can talk about
Yeah.
a sun,
Yeah.
or if we talk about people, we can talk about a tree. But of is an abstract thought. But yet, if we go back to the symbol, KOF, then you see it's not OF. F is a creation of man. There is no F in the original diction, but there is this,
It
and it
sounds
means
like I'm not going to say it
you
until you
can
write
if you want. If
something.
you think you can,
It
you see the
sounds
letters?
like OV
You
of.
got it. Okay, you got it. And there's more to it. Now I got the symbol, the
Okay.
interpretation.
I'm on the edge
Okay,
of my seat when I should be sitting with my feet up. Yep.
right, right. And cutting your nails.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yes,
so
desert. Okay.
all right. And so of is of, there's the OV, the circle is the sun, and the V is the virgin light that came down. So you see, so if it's of something, it's like saying Eve. You can hear the elements of Eve, which would be correctly Ava, but corrupted as Eve. But nonetheless, if it's of something, well, then the way they would describe it is like saying of, of the light. Oh, yes, of something, of another thing that
Yeah.
came out of the light, another part of the creation of this, of that. So it's a star come down because everything came out of the light, is of the light, is Eve the light, is Ava the light, is from the light, Yeah. And so that's an example of how the symbol connected with the deeper thought. You see two letters and you get four words, right? The star come down. Two letters, two symbols. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Hieroglyphs.
Logos.
Hier-
Pictures.
Also,
Yep.
yeah, also logos, right? And
Yep.
also and hieratic. It's what we call hieratic. It's the higher communication of the symbol. We're
Yeah.
being taught
Yeah.
this is what it says, this is what it means, and don't ask me any questions. And so you memorize words,
Yeah.
but you never know the deeper depth of them or the meaning of them because they said this is what it means. And, Dick, Jane, Spot, Run, Spot, here's Puff, and and they don't teach us the elements of the word. The element, what's an element? Oh, an element is something that lights up, right? An element lights up, and
Yeah.
so they never gave us the light to see and read for ourselves, and they taught us to memorize things that were boring and stupid, and that's why foreigners come over here and say I can't learn English. Man, it's the dumbest thing I'd ever heard, because all of your letters have multiple sounds and meanings and don't spell normally and everything else, just like Constitution, the best example. There's the royalty, right? Constitution, Constitut, constitute T-U, Constitution. Oh, okay. Well, there's funny. Where's the SH? So instead, they gave us the royalty, right? ROYALT. They gave us the royalty. They put the knife right there. The T is a sword, and they took that royalty and they stabbed the word, took out the SH, and got us to pronounce a T with an SH sound. Does that sound normal?
No.
No, not
No.
normal. So that's their sword that they pull out when they want to kill a word to deflect, just like at the end of words, the T is, I say, is always silent, just shut it off and you'll get the hidden meaning, right? That's what's going on. That's how they confuse. They put S's and T's at the end
Yeah.
of words to
Yeah.
confuse the mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book of Moses, uh, you see that there's this debate going on, and it's really not a debate. It's just a fact. It's easy to know this that Moses didn't write the five books, and it's because it's a product of the Yahwistic text from the Southern Kingdom. It's a product also of Jasher. It's a product of the deuteral priesthood, and it's a process of the of components of the Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom that was split, and it all came out of Babylon. What's called the five books were put together in Babylon to give them another foundation as they were going back to build the temple. That's why it's spliced together with all these different works, at least near half a dozen of them, if not more. And that's why First and Second Genesis don't make sense because one sounds like it's a repeat of what was just said in the first chapter, only in another way, and that's because it's two different versions that were spliced together. So the good news is we can know what the book of Moses really means if we know the meaning of the word, because Moses, Moses, is Moashan, Moashan, which means I'll just put that there. It didn't fit anyway. The Mother apostrophe S, royal I that came, DOWN. Okay, the mother's royal eye that came down. That's what he was, right? The mother, MO for mother, and the C's is a corruption, and they use those two S's always to corrupt it from Ashan or Asha, excuse me, and so Moeshan, the N is the symbol of what came down. So when we hear the story about Moeshan being drawn from the River Nile, that was symbolic. It was symbolic of the law that he was going to deliver to mankind, because what his title implies is that it was drawn from the cosmic waters. What was drawn from the cosmic waters? The law by the mother Ashan, the mother Ashan, the mother's royal eye that came down. The mother's royal eye that came down is the law that allows us to see and to know how we are supposed to interact with each other, not to covet, not to lie, bear false witness, love, honor your parents. If they're honorable, of course you couldn't, but you can always honor the great Father of light and the Elohimic mother, because they are pure. They are pure in creation. And of course the Father is beyond the creation. He's spirit. So literally that's the deal. See, so when it says it's the book of Moses, it's not referring to the guy. Remember, it's in the meaning of the word. It's in reference to what he symbolizes, the symbol of the mother's royal eye that came down. What royal eye? The light, the sun, that other, if you put up that other graphic, Ninja, with the sun and logo in the circle, then, that'll be a good picture to compare with. Okay, so the G, letter G as in hieroglyph, is the golden generation. The Ashar fan. The Ashar fan is the royal eye of power. So so this is okay. So I'll just show you how the symbol is symbolic. That's why they wear it on their rings. The Masons, but they never tell you what it is. Golden, generation. Generation, which then is the ASHARPHANN apostrophe T, silent T. Okay, golden generation, Ashafan, the royal eye of power. That I should have added that. Which then is the ROYAL of POWER, the royal eye of power. You see, that's the royal eye of power up there, but it represents the Father. It represents the Spirit. Okay, it's Elohim, because it is a biological form of creation that represents something, just like a tree represents something, but yet it is a living thing, right, Ninja? It's a living thing. Even the soil
Yes.
itself is living
Yep.
with probiotic material.
Yep.
The earth has a heartbeat. The earth has an algorithm.
Yeah.
And so people are regarding everything as if it were dead, when it is the as I said at the beginning, the material world and all creation is the symbol and the expression of the spirit of all life. So his spirit is hiding behind everything, behind
Yeah.
all creation.
Yeah.
And so we see the word fan, but it's a silent T, but we can say phant, like phantom. You see, so a phantom is the thing that goes bump in the night we're all afraid of, right? But the phantom, that's where it comes from. You see, from power, dark, and it's actually light power, but they converted it into dark mystery, right? Phantom is the dark mystery, but yet the fan is, as we saw with the Philfot, that's a light particle spinning, in all directions. Then it is the power. It's the power source, the royal eye of power, and so
I've got
there's the
that
double play.
still. Sorry. Sorry, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't mean to cut you
Right.
off there. I've got that. Do you want me to put it up while you're talking about it?
What's that?
The
What?
symbol.
Which symbol?
The symbol. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly at this time of night.
Well,
Does it?
give it a shot. I don't know what I said that you're referring to specifically. So anyway, that's okay. Sure, let's give
You'll see it in
the
a
original
second.
the original text. Okay, therefore are yeah, real quick we can show that. That's fine. That is the swastika, and but it got a bad rap because it's really the
Yeah.
symbol of peace, the symbol of light, the symbol of eternity, symbol of power. It is the light particle spinning, coming down. That's why it's a fan. That's the prime representation of that. And but yet we have an occultic sun, a moon over the sun at the same time with this image. Those are straight points are the moon, and the fiery every other fiery point is the sun. So there's your evidence of the duality. Plus, like Ninja pointed out on the last program, we talked about this. The orange on top of the yellow is the occultic. So it would be too obvious if it were black. So they
Yeah.
make it orange. You see, yeah, we know something was up if we're black. Okay, and we can go back to that other one now, Ninja. That's good. Thank you. So the original texts um, are in the Aramaic, which is the Archai Malik. We spelled that on the other program, so I'm not going to do that one. The Archai Malik, and Malik means royal messenger, and um, so in other words, when they're saying, they got these from the original text, like King James Version, they had no originals. Okay, but then when they said, well, no, maybe they said then they got it from the original Hebrew and the original Greek. Well, the Greek and the Hebrew were not original. Okay, and if you follow the story of Yeshua, you know that that all of his followers, except for three of them, were from the northern kingdom area around Lake Galilee, the Samaria, and they had not they were despised. They were despised by the priesthood. They did not speak Hebrew. They spoke Aramaic. They could not even read Hebrew. Only James, John, and Levi, Matthew could speak the Hebrew because they were scribes. Okay, so so the rest of them, were just speaking Aramaic, and therefore, so the Hebrew was only a part of the wealthy and the elite. Okay, in the priesthood, and then the Greek, of course, they took all the Aramaic writings and converted them into the Greek, and then got rid of the Aramaic copies because they were doing a switch out. So the switch out began way back then, and as I've read Kefe Peter, falsely called Peter Kefe, um, his lost writings out of the Apocrypha that came out of Germany, he says in there that he had a library, he had a whole arsenal of his own writings, and he says that people were putting words in his mouth of things that he never said, changing his writings, and so they were even doing it while he was alive. Okay,
Wow.
and so we get past the Hebrew and the Greek, we go back to that which is first, the Indo-Germanic mother tongue, aka Aramaic, and which was not controlled. That's why they worked overtime to steal that capital letters and to create false alphabets like the Hebrew, which is demotic, and like the New Greek. The New Greek you find in the Strong's Concordance, because the Greek in the Strong's Concordance is not the Greek you find, is not the alphabet you find on the walls in Greece. They use the Phoenician slash original Sanskrit script, not script, sand, for writing in the sand straight lines on the walls of the Greek monuments. But yet in your Strong's Concordance, you got this demotic Greek that you wouldn't even want to try to learn. They couldn't pay me to want to learn that. But so that's how the game is played. The switch outs, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it's a switch out, but unless we become scholars, we would notice, and so we accept. That's a better way of saying it. We accept whatever is being told to us by the people at the bullpit, or they got everybody bound down to Israel, right? Pseudo Israel, aka Jews, and the word Jew never belonged in Israel, never was there. The word Jew is only 1,000 years old, thanks to the work of Charles Weissman. We find that out, and so we've got a switch out that occurred in culture, a switch out in alphabets, a switch out in diction, and from one language to another. The switch. How are you going to get back home with the roadmap if they continually played this game with you throughout the centuries and millennium, and you can't interpret a symbol? It starts with interpreting the symbol, just like nobody ever says, well, by the way, did you know a logo was a symbol? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course
and
it
so
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so in the Greek, when it says that in the beginning, said was, but it's not. It's is, not past tense, but present tense. It is the logo. In the beginning is the logo, and the logo is theos. It says in the Greek the theos, which in our King James says God, but as you know, we say in the beginning is Yahweh, who is the great Elohim. But nonetheless, the logo is what he is as a symbol. So Yeshua comes down to earth, and so he is the word, he is the logo, he is the symbol of the perfect. They hate that word, the perfect creation that we are supposed to emulate. All right. So the Son is a logo, and Yeshua is the logo. He's a symbol. So Yeshua is the symbol of the great light, and the great light is the symbol of Yeshua. Right? And both of them are a symbol and a logo of the great Father of light. They are a symbol of Yahweh. So the Son is the great Elohim by nature, and it is a logo, and inside of it is regarded as the house of the Spirit, or as it says in Psalm 19, I think in verse 4, it says that he set his tabernacle in the sun. He set his tabernacle in the sun. And then you see in Revelations 19, verse 17, I believe it is, and Yelganon says, and I saw the royal Malek, that's Yeshua, standing in the sun, standing in the sun. They've corrupted it all. It he said, seated on the throne of the sun, you see. Seated on the throne. I don't know if you got that Ezekiel's wheel, Ninja. Do you know that Ezekiel's wheel, that black and white graphic with
I have it, but
the
I
old
have
man?
to put it in the OBS. I can do it, but
Do
we'll
it
have a
if you
black
can,
screen
because
for a
that'd be
couple of
good.
minutes.
That'd be good to
Yeah.
to be a part of this presentation. Do we have to take a break? Is that what you said?
If we take a break, it'll still be a black screen, so you can you
Keep
can
talking.
continue while
Okay.
I
All
find
right.
it and put it in there.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank
Okay.
you. All right. Yeah, that'd be a good one to define. We're defining things.
Yeah.
We're recapping, and we're recapping the last 7 programs we did, and also it's a compendium of all the programs that I've done in trying to bring forth this higher knowledge
Yeah.
of our creation. What they have destroyed, the priesthood has worked over time to destroy it, and that's why when you come on here, you start hyperventilating, and your head is starting to spin, and you're getting ready to vomit because you don't know what to think anymore. What has happened? That's why Neo, by the way, the first thing he did after he realized he was in the Matrix and that he was lied to all of his life and he lived in an illusory world is he vomited. He vomited, and he says, "Why do my eyes hurt?" And then Morpheus, who was the god of dreams, says, "Because you never used them. That's why your
Wow.
eyes hurt. You have never used them." They're telling us
Yeah.
in the movie, and still we don't get the picture, Ninja. You know,
Yeah.
and it's a quite a wake up in the Matrix, is it not? Um,
Exactly. Like I've
yeah.
felt like that. I haven't actually physically done that, but I've felt very close to it in my journey over this last year or so, Desert.
Yeah, yeah, you've been on the trail. You've been going down it, and you're still here. Can't get over it. You didn't
I'm
run.
still here.
Huh. So some people will go back, and to the watering hole, to the Tao's End, the tavern, and and have a good stiff drink over this, and want to forget. Well,
Yeah.
I don't. I think I
I've
want to forget
yeah.
now. Thank you.
I've felt
And
like that. I have
yeah,
felt like that, but
uh-huh.
yeah, I know this is the
Yeah.
truth, and
It's hard. It's tough waking up to that we've been lied to all of our life, and that we've got a major work in front of us in order to overcome the deception that has occurred to us. Because as it says in 1 John 2:27, but the anointing that you have received of him abides in you, and you need not that anyone teach you. But this same anointing teaches you about all things, and it is truth, and it is not a part of any lie. And therefore, even as it teaches you, ye shall remain in it. So the truth is not a part of any lie, ladies and gentlemen. And I like that picture, full black screen, and
yeah, it's
that's
great.
indicative. That's indicative of
You
where
know what
people
my
are.
filing
That's
system looks
indicative.
like.
All right.
Sorry.
That's indicative of where people are in the matrix. Okay? That's the
Yes.
contrast between light and darkness. That's where people are in the matrix, and they're trying to preach to you, Jesus loves you. Yes, I know, for the Bible tells me so. And yet they can't read, they can't interpret symbol, they can't therefore get the metaphor. They think that it was really a snake in the garden, and that there were trees with apples or peaches or plums on them, and they have no ability to transliterate the symbol into the real narrative. The symbol is actually preserving the narrative, and we're supposed to be able to interpret the symbol to say, "Oh, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Oh, did you get it? Oh, I got it." And because in the ancient, if you didn't get it, then they all assumed you weren't supposed to get it. They weren't going to tell you. But we're doing it here because the lies are so bad. Because in other words, I used to think that a lot of the things. How much longer is that going to be? And then just a
Yeah,
lot
I
of.
was looking for it, and Shelley just sent her copy to me, so it's
All
going in
right.
right now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And so
Thank you, Yo.
uh, what was the last thing I just said? I just lost my.
Um,
Let me rewind. All right,
Sorry, I'm
that's all
multitasking.
right. That's all right. Anyway, okay. There's a
Anyway,
good graphic. I may remember. So I want to forget too. I want to take that blue pill, but I can't. It's I'm so grateful. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be a couch potato. To go home, watch the 5 o'clock news, 6 o'clock news, or and then just go to watch the Monday Night Football or whatever, and just or go to my 45 minutes on Sunday. Hallelujah, brother. Yeah, pass the hat. Yeah, here's my 10%, and then go out and everybody walks away from each other because there's no family. It's not a family. It's just a bunch of strangers coming together, putting their money in the till, assuming the guy's not lying to them and telling them the truth. And so it's rather interesting what our world is doing. That's why there's 600 different flavors, right, of Baskin Robbins, right? Religion, Christianity. Have it your way. What flavor did you want? Okay, yeah. And so, but there's only one truth, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, and those are all pagan terms. Okay, all of those words I just used are
yeah,
pagan.
yeah.
And pagan meaning of the occult, not of the pure tradition. There is one Yahweh, one victory of light. That's the original thought for faith, and one Alba Vatezering. Alba Vatezering means making the serpent white. Okay, let me type that one in there. Alba, okay, because Alba means white, but it's Alba. They took the B, it
Oh,
became a code. The
Alba,
V,
albino. Yeah.
yeah, albino's white, right? See, Alba,
Wow.
and so baptized, Baptising. I'm trying to do this off the top of my head now, and I probably spelled baptizing wrong already, but that's okay. You'll get the picture. I don't. This doesn't have a spell check, so I don't know. Baptiz. Oh, I'm missing the Z, not an S, but Z-I-N-G, right? Yeah. Okay. There they use the Z. Why? Because it's a power symbol for what's about to happen in this experience. But the correct one is it's. Uh, then we get Alba, but I'm going to just do Alva, Alva, and then a Tzaryng. Oh, Ayng, Ng. Okay, so Alva Vatezareng, Ayng, A-N-G. Okay, missing an A. Aya and G as an angle. Okay, there it is. So baptizing is Alva Vatezareng. So there's your whitening, and then the vat is right built within that word alva, with the t at the end of it, which is the beginning of the next word, actually zar, for a star. So
Wow.
alvat,
And
you see the
Ray.
serpent's there. The
Wow.
serpent is there. So it's the father is in al. So it literally means the making the serpent white and becoming a star, because white is the prime symbol represented as a star. You see,
Yeah.
so all of that is in that. And ang as an angle, as with the chevron, is the symbol 7 of perfection, and the ang,
Yang?
yeah.
Is
There's
yang the white part of the yin yang symbol?
Well, yang means that which is far away, and a star is far away. Yin is in you, yin is near you, and yang is out there. That's a Yankee. The
Wow.
Yankee's going ship, right? Yankee. They're going far away. The Yankee, the
Yeah, and
young.
a star is
Okay,
far away.
and the
Yang.
and the star is young as well, and that's
Yeah.
why it's called Utah, the youth. You see, all at end there. Okay, and so another one is the OR. OR is the I get it right? Okay. OR is the royal round, okay? Because the O, as in we talked about Ararat, very similar, but a little still different, right? And what was that? Gee, I meant to write something down on that G on that golden. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Where's that golden? Did I write?
Okay.
Where is that?
And I'm a bit delayed. I just remembered what you were talking about when you asked me before.
About what?
We were talking about the black screen and how that's a perfect
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
interpretation of
yeah.
people
And I
these
found,
days. Yeah.
and I found the G. It's the royal power because I didn't want to forget that
Yeah.
because these are elements. It's so much easier to get it when you got it. The royal of power. Uh, okay, and so knowing the root forms and the exact science of knowing the root forms, ladies and gentlemen, it is possible then to piece together the mystery. It's all about light. These are all symbols of light. And so in this or the royal round, then we can see watch this, Ninja. Okay,
I'm
so
watching.
in this word Organized, then we see the go round or get organized.
Organ. I say gain.
Right.
Gun
Well,
as
well,
in
organized.
Garnoon, as in
Right. You're again right. The garden is here, right? So the garden, so it's the
yeah,
royal
yeah,
round in the garden. That's what we're doing. It would
yeah,
seem most people never woke up to the fact that they're in the lower garden, right? That we're in a garden, because if you compared the Earth with outer space, you know that you can't go out there and have a garden. The garden is right here. All
yeah,
the plants, all the trees, all the
yes,
beauty, all
yeah,
the flowers, all the nature, the animals. It's a garden. And so the go round is being implied in the organ A's. Well, there's as in alphabetized, right? The I's as if in being stunned, tased, right? In other words, you're being tased. The organized, we're getting together, we're getting excited now, because we're gonna do something, and maybe have a bridge club, or maybe to go fight a war, but we're getting organized,
yeah,
and so you're being tasered, you're being in that terminology, like baptized. It's a tasar. You see, that's alphabet tasering is the
wow,
word I was using. So you see the word tasers there, right?
yeah,
The
yeah,
because you're being transformed, you're being stunned into another state of being, from one state of being in the fall to now being in a covenant relationship with the great Father of Light. A total change of paradigm, a shift in consciousness and relationship with the one who made all things. Now you finally know about him, right? And you're following. Organ dies, right? That's another interesting, and that's a
yeah,
division. So they
wow,
divide, the wealthy go over here, and the peons go to the front line and get shot. And so that's how that works. But okay, so that's the or, and then school was corrupted as shul. But what's interesting, when I looked at the anagram in school, okay, so shul and is became by the Scottish Rite. They put their symbol of the moon, the crescent moon, SCHOOL. Okay, and then so if we look at the anagram by reading it backwards, then we can see LOOCH. Okay, I should have added the other word, LOOK. Right? Look. So you see, and so what do you do in school? You look at everything, right? And so the symbol for knowledge, the word for the ASHAVOR for knowledge is school, the shul, the shul. There's the owl. You can see the owl. The owl is supposed to be getting wise, smart. There's the S for the serpent. There's the H for the bridge, the shul. And so then when you read it backwards, you get, look, that's what you have to do if you want to learn. You got to look, right? And so there's the anagram, okay? And so what it literally means is, in that sense, because the S is the last word, also it means to see the, well, gee, that's what happened in the wilderness. Moishan was told to put a serpent on the cross and go around the camp, and if they could see it, they could live. And so literally in this aspect with the S being the prime symbol of the serpent, and everything in nature is serpent, that's the first thing that we need to learn in school, right? Is that everything, and that's the first letter. Everything's a serpent, everything goes round, everything's spin. Sorry, flat earthers, okay, to give you the bad news. I know you were wanting to just have flatline, that's like in the hospital. Your heart's not ticking anymore. I got to say, because you can't even process, and you no longer able to define anything because you destroyed it all because everything is spins, and so we have to see the serpent, and then losh. Oh, and then you're set free. So Shelley is taking the literal, and so losh is in essence Lose, loose of oh, is it Loose, loose, yeah, loose, okay, to be set free, because that's a primitive form that she's spelling there, but that's the modern losh
I
is
see
and
leash, like the leash
well,
coming off.
certainly, because the leash is, just like the next word I was going to say for Loo is that Lou means, so you're protecting your dog when you put it on a leash because you don't want it running away, getting run over
Yeah,
by a
yeah,
car.
yeah,
So the leash is a protector. So there's different elements in that loose. So it's leash and loose. So you can be free to run, or you might be on a leash because you are being trained.
yeah,
So all of these elements are flowing through these ASHAVORs. It's the nature of how it really works.
yeah.
And so Ninja, let's go to we're on 2 hours now. Let's do another break, and then we'll pick it up one more time. And I think this will be our last segment. I do have some cards I want to go through as best as possible, so we're gonna try to get up on hyper speed next. Okay,
Okay.
is that okay?
Wow.
Vav,
um.
Vav for
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
recap.
Vav.
Vav,
Vav.
right?
Yeah.
Vav,
Vav.
vav, vav, boom.
Vavavoom. Sounds
Okay,
funny with Aussie accent.
all right.
Yeah. But yeah. How long a break would you like? Desert?
Oh, another reasonable one. Okay, so I can get my throat together. And you got some on that last Friday program. You really had some good graphics with that music. I don't know if you can pull that up again, but that would be really
Which one
great.
will do?
Oh, I don't know. You just had some really good graphics. You pulled it together. So just
Okay.
do your best. All right, do your best, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm gonna go have see my psychiatrist real quick, and then I'll be back with some more of the ASHAVORs, what they didn't want you to know,
That we tell right here.
because
Yeah.
somebody's got to do it, right?
Yes.
And I'm just a glutton for punishment that can do this. Okay,
Yeah.
you did tell your friends, Ninja?
All my friends are here.
Oh, okay. That's because nobody will listen to us now. Now
Yeah,
we're
I put out a
pierced to hell.
notice for
We woke up. We
everybody
vomited.
else. Yeah.
Roll down. Okay, I'm going. I'm going now. I'll be back. I'll be
Okay.
back.
Okay, I'll find some music. Please stay with us, guys. Desert's on a roll, and it's going to get better after the break. Just trying to think of what graphics he was referring to. So there's two breaks that I can't play at the moment because I need to redo them. Okay, we'll go with this one again. Okay, welcome back. Please accept my apologies for going through the for going through the graphics really quickly. Then it's getting late here. Uh, Welcome back to the Forbidden History series. You're here with NinjaCat and Dezert-Owl from Forbidden History Archives and also the Forbidden History series YouTube channels. Links are in the description. Please go and subscribe. Welcome back, Desert.
Thank you.
No
Thank you,
worries.
Ninja. And we're going through the ASHAVORs today. We're recapping our, this is the final and eighth part in the series of the ASHAVORs. In the beginning, not was, but is the word. In the beginning is the ASHAVOR. And the ASHAVOR is the, I don't know if you can pull that graph. Well, that's okay. It'll be up in a minute. But the ASHAVOR is the original word. It means to shower. If you silence the A and the T, then you get shower, you get sower, you get sword, you get all of these different aspects. Savior is in that word,
Wow.
and mm, yeah, and
Thank you.
so yeah, so that was one I forgot. Savior, shower, sower. You can hear they're all similar. And when
Yeah.
we go back to the word ASHAVOR, that's where these words come from in the middle. And the A and the T are on both the front and the back, uh, showing, to so to speak, to capture the word on each side of it. And the AT represent creation. And out of this creation are the ASHAVORs. And it is yeah, this, so the ASHAVORs right there at the top would have a T after it, but it would be silent. It's Shavors. You see the Shavors, and so yeah, this is the best example. I've got others like the one with Yahweh,
Yeah.
Yahweh,
Yeah.
which is mispronounced as Yahweh, and out of the I just did it, I think on the last program, it defines all these these things. So like the symbol of the T, and the T is the royal T because it's where the royal was nailed to. The Yeshua was nailed to the T, and we talk about the T in a symbolic way that way too, don't we? Oh, in golf they tee off, right? That's how they do it. They tee off, like they're going to flog, because golf backwards is flog. So they're going to flog the tee, and there's occult symbolism,
And on a boat,
Yeah.
the mast on a boat that the sails are on, T shape.
Yeah, yeah, because it symbolizes getting you somewhere. So the
Yeah.
cross and the symbolism gets us somewhere. And so the T is the symbol of light and creation and also sacrifice. It is the symbol, maybe in the greatest element, the sacrifice of Yeshua. That's why the TZ, we see it in the original spelling, like Sun Tzu, And so that's the royalty. And then the center. So center is where when we enhance this book a little bit, we'll then add the meaning for the word center more in that terminology, because vortex we get is center, but then center has another aspect as well. So I'll type it in here, which is and using the TZ.
Cool. Are you going to upgrade? Are you going to upgrade the book
Well,
and
yeah,
add more
I
on
have
there?
another line on each page I'm going to put on there because it's not, I want to be a little more detailed. And so center
Cool.
is Xantor. Xantor, so Zan is the infinite. You see, the An is the harvest. And so what happens when you produce, right, with seed, you get a unlimited harvest because you can then plant again next year. You can keep
Yeah.
on going with the harvest of the seed. And so the Torah is the power, that which turns, what goes around, the Xantor. Interesting because if you do Tor backwards, you actually get with one more R, you get rotor, right? Rotor. So Tor, you see, rotor. The perfect anagram, Rotor, right? Is that how rotor is spelled? Rotor.
Yeah.
So the forwards and backwards, then so it means something that spins. You see, so the Tor. You go on tour. What happens? You go on tour, and ultimately you come back, right? You go around, you
Yeah.
come back. So it's going around. The tour has to do like torque. You're putting torque on something. You're pulling on something at the same time. So these are primitive words. Tor is the bull. The bull's coming
Yep.
for you. He's turned around looking at you. And so anyway, and so what that Zentor means then is the infinite power for return. So let me do it again. T-Z-A-N-N-T-O-R is the infinite I-N-F-I-N-A-T-E power for return. Okay, Zentor, the infinite power for return. That's what implies, because the infinite is in the Zen. Zen was corrupted into Z-E-N. Okay, but it's Zen. It's Zen because the point of the A is from infinity, and it's branching out to infinity. You see, it's from infinity going out to infinity. It's the ultimate symbol of infinity, of course, with the O as well, because the O has no beginning and no ending. And so that's another symbol of infinity. We find it at the bottom of the compass of the A. If it's the architect's compass, it goes around, makes a circle. If you ever take technical drawing, you'd know that. And so both come from each other, represent each other, and are the prime symbols. And then they became supplemented by the E and the small I, you see? And that's where the switch out occurred in the blind, because the A and the O are the two primary vowels. Well, the A is a consonant at the beginning of the alphabet, but then there's another A, which is the vowel. There's their duality. That's why Aaron had two A's in his name, because one is silent and one speaks, showing the
Okay.
duality. There's a true,
Yeah.
a pure tradition and a false tradition. The false tradition is the parrot, bark, 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 bark. The holy rollers and Jack Van Imp. I like that word, imp. They make good imps, I'm telling you. And then you got Benny Hinn. Oh, Benny's the classic, I got to tell you. And so they're speaking, they're squawking, but then there's the silent power. And the silent power is the one that's been there all the time, just waiting for you to fall flat on your face and see the truth for the first time, and then pick yourself back up and go for it, you see? Because he's silent, but yet he is speaking, but he speaks through the false traditions, and then we come out. Come out of her. Come out of the whore, my little ones, and I will have supper with you. So then we come out from the false traditions, but it was the false traditions where we got our first awakening, right? That we saw there was something greater. They're pretenders, but now we have the ability to put on the reality when we take off the mask, when the walls come down, when we roll away the stone. You see all of that. Yeah,
Thank you.
the compass of the A, right. So the A represents the architect, and the C for the crescent moon is the creator. The creator is the woman. The father is the architect. He designed it all, and he put the woman to work for him. The woman works. That's why he says she's the helper. She's the helpmate, and so the woman served, and that's why he said this will be written about as her for a memorial. Okay, so the woman gets a bad rap, but in Yeshua's book, she got memorialized as being of very significance and importance, and so it's all a great mystery, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of injustice in our world, and women got the bad rap, but they enslaved us all, really. So we're all in the same boat. And so Schultre is the knowledge of the three and knowledge of the tree. I'm not going to type this in. I'm going to try to go a little quicker, because I can feel my voice going, and I know we've been on for a while, so I'm going to
Yeah.
just run
Yeah.
through
I'm
a few words.
feeling
So
it. Yeah.
Schultre, yeah, it's what, 5 in the morning now over there?
Yep.
All right. Schultre is the knowledge of the three and the knowledge of the tree of life. Okay, and there's two trees. One's the tree of knowledge. One's the tree of life. And the tree of knowledge leads us to the root system of life. Okay, because the root system is hiding below. The life is hiding, but it is the same tree. Knowledge is what gets us there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and that is knowing who we are, where we are, when we are, and why we are, and not spewing out a lot of false garbage. We can't spew out falsehood and use terms that don't belong to our pure tradition, that came out of Babylon, that came out of the Babylonian Talmud, that came out of the dungeons of the Vatican, you know. So Jesus, it's interesting, because here we see without forgetting for a moment the real negative aspect of Jesus, but Jesus. Then we see without the J, then would have been IESUS, and then we all saw that as Zeus, Zeus. They took off the T in the Greek, so we wouldn't get the picture and go back on that original thought trail. And we have the okay. So Jesus, Isis, Zeus are in effect the hidden woman. Okay, just like Santa Claus, Santa is feminine. Santa Maria, Santa Monica, Santa Clara. Santa is a woman, and Santa Claus. And so it's the hidden woman, all dressed in red for blood, for all the blood she shed throughout all time. And so that's part of this great mystery. The female hiding behind the male. The men are wearing the dresses, the Scottish Rite Freemasonry. There's your hidden woman. That's Lucifer. They're hiding Lucifer under their dress. Okay, the same with the Catholic Church, the Vatican. As we even hear their speeches in the Vatican, right? They go, Lucica, they're singing their songs. Do you ever see one of those videos that point out that they're singing in the music the name Lucifer, Lucifer? You ever hear that, Ninja? Some people have pointed that out on YouTube, and it's right in our face, And the people are in the audience going, isn't this a great mass, honey? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. And they never even hear the word Lucifer being said, They're just oblivious, because they're stupid, because they've been brainwashed, because they're in the culture, that from cradle to grave, they get us to buy into their pablum, of falsehood. So judgment, so the word judgment really, J-U-D-G, judgment, J-U-D-G-E-M-E-N-T would be in the original thought, youth, O-O-T-H, youth, K-C-H-A-Y, K, man, M-A-N-N, with a silent T at the end of it. It's something like that. But what it literally means is the focusing, the F-O-C-U-S-I-N-G, I-N of. So when you're okay, you jumped in between me. You jump started me here.
Sorry, I was responding to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
So judgment, Yud Cayman, you can see the form is there. Yud, as we see, the corruption, Y-U-D. Yud is Jud because there is no J, it's a Y. So Yud Cayman, but so literally Yud Cayman, Yud, K is the fiery keys. Yud is the point of a star, the dot, meaning you're focusing. You're looking at that little dot, but yet it represents the sun. And so it's the focusing eye and light of fire. Okay, so that's what we do when we're doing judgment, right? Because we're focusing light, hopefully on ourself, not on somebody else. We're focusing light on ourself, because we're all condemned in the world, and all we need to do is pick each other up. But other people want to, go focus on other people for some reason and focus on others, not on themselves, but on others, and feel that that's their job, to focus on everybody else and not take a look at themselves in the mirror. So the focusing light is what is the element of judgment, right? That's the focusing light. You're looking, and that's judgment. The judge is in the courtroom. He's looking at you. So he's focusing light on you, okay? So that's the original thought, okay? Notice how it always goes back to the light. It always goes back to the circle. It always goes back to the sun, but they don't want you to see. That's why they said everything created by a big bang. They just said, yeah, it's a garbage dump, and the Jesuits in the 1930s, we talked on the last program, just said that's where the Big Bang came from, the Jesuits, right? You think these people are telling you the truth? They're the most pathetic liars. They're murderers. They're mother sons of darkness. They blew up. They were the ones who detonated the bombs, the atomic bombs in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. What came out of the airplane was a flare bomb. The bombs had to be detonated on the ground because they're very sensitive devices, and it was the Jesuits who set off the bombs, destroyed all those people, burned them alive, and then came out of the basement, out of the underground with their band-aids and bandages, looking like the good guys when they were the ones who pulled the plug, you know. And so it's just an amazing psychopathic world. Okay, so logos, as we have on, put that other one up with the logo if you could, Ninja, and
Yep.
logos, Gos. You know, because the S is a corruption. So we'll put logo first, then we'll put / and then Logos, because the S does represent the sun in the primary. That's why as the word sun begins with an S, right? And but so literally what it implies then is the true way of the sun. And sun is SON as well. And it's originally, the word is correctly TZANN, and also TZAR, two different aspects of the same word. See, so sun is Zan, and also Zar, which is correctly then STAR, the other aspect of the sun being a star. You see, so Zan is sun and Zar is star, but they both begin with the power symbols, the royal T and the lightning strike. The lightning strike, power, the TZ, you see? And then you got the ANN for harvest, and you got the AR for power, you know? And yeah, so it's amazing. And the occultic, you know, of course, what they did with Star Ninja, the occultic, because when they lived underground, you know, they always had their caves, and if they got lost underground, they would take a rat and they would dip it in flour, and then they would
Oh,
follow the trail of flour back out of the caves, because you know rats can figure out a maze, right? They got perfect recall somehow for following a maze,
yeah.
and so they could always follow the rats. They always took rats with them if they needed to find their way back out, and they got lost in the catacombs and the caverns. And so look at Star. Star backwards is rats, right?
Wow.
That's their star to get them out, you know, of
Could
the
that be
caves.
where the idea to leave a trail of breadcrumbs originates from? Do you think? Like kind of in reverse, you leave a trail of breadcrumbs so you can find your way
Well,
back?
I don't know because that's a fairy tale. That was, you know, one of the you know, I think of, you know, Hansel and Gretel or something. I don't know, but you know,
I
I
don't
don't,
know.
I can't comment more on that one. You know, um, yeah. So, but that's, yeah, obviously if you're going in a cave or a maze, you got to mark your trail. That's a given. You know, you
Yeah.
got to mark your trail.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow, I
And
never saw
so,
the rats one before. I never saw
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's right
Well,
there.
yeah,
Wow.
because it's the star. So that's why
Yeah.
they reversed it. It's the
Yeah.
star.
Yeah.
They need that little guy. Okay.
Yeah.
So Orient. Okay. If okay, Orient, then you know, is Orian. Orient. Remember that the T is silent. So what do you get with Orient when you shut off the T, the royalty? You get Orion, or Orion, Arion, Arian, right?
Yep.
Aryan. Okay, who then ultimately became Alien. Give me a break, okay? Yeah, they came down here 100,000 years, 200,000 years, eating peanut butter and jelly, said, okay, we're going to go get that planet Earth. We're going to teach those people a lesson. And then they got here, then they, you know, then they built these giant stone monuments. They could just do it all, you know, Superman, but we're too stupid. We couldn't do nothing. You know, we had no capability. But that's the Aryan lie. You see, the alien, because they're the ones who engineered our world. The Aryan. That's Adam, the first Aryan. We got the series on the Cosmic Essence, ladies and gentlemen. Go to the Cosmic Essence and watch the series of the Watchers and the series of who Adam really is, because it's the great lie. Okay, it's exposed here. We put it on the table. The beans have been spilled, and you can see it for yourself. You got to hear some things you've not heard before. You got to consider some things you've not considered before, because it's said that the beast system deceived the entire world. Well, what part of the entire world don't we get? That the entire world has been deceived. They're using false terms, false narratives, stories that have been twisted and bent and destroyed, And but the good news is it's part truth and part lie. And so the part truth is what can get you to the whole truth, right? That's the important part. The part truth, there's enough truth there to get you to the rest of the story and to the right root form of the story, because they left enough clues. They did, you know, and that's why I've been able to follow that trail, because the easy part opened up, and then the rest of it came. The rest of it came, and so I see you've been working on your graphics there, Ninja, huh? Very nice, thank you.
Which one are you talking about?
Well, let there be rain. That was you upgraded that one,
Yeah, I fixed
and
it. Yeah.
yeah, very good. And so let there be light. In other words, okay. In the ASHAVORs, the royal eye in the vortex. The words are not what you think. Pi. So pi is an interesting one, because pi, we hear about the divided circle, and this is really symbolic. You see, we've got to really get the symbolism here. So I'm gonna,
Desert. Oh, I
uh,
just saw something with that. It
oh,
just, sorry,
okay,
it just popped into my head.
okay.
I,
So am I going to go, or
you go, because I don't
all
want
right,
to say anything that you're about to say.
all right, all
Hopefully,
right.
I can
Okay,
contribute something different. Yeah.
all right. Okay, so let me pull it out here, and
Okay.
so we can say then, okay, so here we
Sorry,
go.
that was a real wow. Sorry.
Right, that's all right. I'm trying to think of how to approach this, so I'm going to type this, which then is that, which then becomes that. Okay, and so the pi is a code, because they don't want us to have the original, and it's correctly the Fae. So there's the woman. So the divide and the line in the middle of the circle with its root number of what, 333, decimal point, it's always the same no matter how big the circle. The pi is always the same, number apparently. So and so what we have then is a cover for the word Fae, because it's the woman. And what is it saying about the woman? That she is a divided creature, right? That's why the circle is split down the middle, and they call that Fae. They call that pi. Why? Because she is. You get it? She's divided because she represents both paradigms. She's got the opposites, the hot and the cold, the light and the dark, the yin and the yang, the up and the down, the in and the out, the male, the female. So she is the divided creation, right? I said divided creature. She is a divided creation. Okay, do you get the picture? The circle's cut in half, but she's both of it. She's both halves of creation, right?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
All
I'm
right.
just thinking
So,
about.
okay,
Yes.
the woman, right? The material world and all creation is the symbol and the expression of the spirit of all life. The woman is the helper. The woman is the creation, and so therefore she is split. She is the virgin. She is the whore, right? She's constitutes. There's the symbol. There's the symbol. One's hiding in the other. It's a mixing. It's a right, and so it's about defining. We have to define everything. If we're not defining things, then we just accept the whore. I love the whore. I know she's raping babies at night on Saturday, but she's looking pretty good on Sunday, and I like to go there with the music and all those nice people, and they're all psychopaths, and they're so the thing is we have to then make the distinctions in this polarity of opposites, right? It's a polarity of opposites, and we have to then that's what it's about. That's why the helper is the imagery. That's what's the helper. In other words, everything was designed um, with a primordial definition. There was two trees in the garden, but nobody ever gets that was Adam and Eve, right? They never get it. One's the tree of life, one's the tree of knowledge. Adam was the tree of knowledge because he was the one who named everything. Eve is the tree of life because the woman could give give life to a baby. And therefore he knew that, and he wanted her, and therefore, right, what's the next thing they do when they partake of that fruit? When really the word eat means pleasure. Fruit is from the fruit of the man, his fruit. You see, that's why they called the underwear Fruit of the Loom. We got underwear company here called Fruit of the Loom. They know what it's about, the Zionists running that company. And so eat means find pleasure. And even in the Septuagint, the first translation to come out of the Hebrew in the 300 BC into the Greek, it said that they found pleasure. It says it in there, okay? So they gave us the truth in the Septuagint, when in the introduction to the Septuagint, they say, well, this book is not very relevant. It doesn't have much to offer. And, you really wouldn't want to read it. Shh, don't tell anybody, okay? I mean, come on. We don't want, but yet they're spilling all their beans in the Septuagint. That's where then we find out who the Canaanites really are. In the Septuagint, they called them Phoenicians, Of course, everybody out there, you all got your Septuagint, right? What? Oh, jeez, they don't have a Septuagint. Can you imagine, Ninja? They go on this planet without a Septuagint, to read the first translation, to go in a foreign tongue outside of the Aramaic, spilling all the beans. But you see, that's the problem. That's the problem because of improper teaching, because of deception, because of the 600 versions of Baskin-Robbins Christianity. What flavor do you want? They're run by Jesuits and Freemasons that nobody knows anything. Nobody is a researcher. They're too busy, playing sports, or they're too busy running around, doing this, playing guitar, or just having a good old party, But they're not hitting the books. They're not becoming scholars, and therefore they're going to forfeit their eternal being, because they just thought somebody told them straight when it was nothing but a big lie, a big serpent wiggling around. You were trying to say something?
Yeah, before you get too far away from pie.
Okay, I'm done with. That's all right. We can go back to it. Go on.
Yeah, because you remember the big wow? Yeah. I just, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm really tired, but I have to get this out.
All right, get it out. Cough it up, Ninja. Come on. You can do it.
Okay, when you mentioned pie, and you mentioned you were talking about the circle, like the mathematics of it, the circle.
Yeah.
By
the way, that's why we call the apple fruit cake an apple pie, or cherry pie, because it's a circle, and you're cutting it in half, right? I upstarted you, huh? Did I? I'm sorry.
Let me get it out.
Get it out. All right.
That's what I saw. We eat pies. Pies are circles. They get divided into sections, like
that's right.
a circle on a piece of paper that you draw.
Right.
I saw further than that, though.
Okay.
The food fights in the old black and white movies were always with pies in people's faces, and they were always whipped cream pies. And I think that's very significant mind control thing in movies with pies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that is interesting. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. And
I'm sure there was more, but that's all I managed to write down.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So in pie, I'm going to do it one more time, because now I don't know if I defined this, and I'm not looking up there, so I'm doing it again. I don't think I did this, but it is also, therefore, what is that circle? That Fey? It is. Try this again. It is creation's eye. The circle of the pie is the creation's eye, right? It's the round, it's the logo again, the symbol, the sun in the primordial. That's the virgin light. That's the virgin woman up there. It's both male and female, depending upon what aspect you were talking about. That's the division, right? Male, female.
Yes.
It's the circle cut in half.
Yes.
It's which one are you talking about? You see? And that's the point. It's beautiful. You coming back to it allowed me to get one more important element of that. It's because it's so elusive. To how do we help you get the picture? And I think I just capped it right there. With that aspect of it. It all goes back to the light, and it's dual in nature. It's and actually tripart. If we're talking about Father, Mother, Son, or Father, Son, Spirit, you see, and so there's a tripart, um, and that's the same rule for the moon, the same rule for the Earth, and but if we talk in another aspect, the sun and moon are coming together from two polaric ends, just like male, female, and they're creating light on Earth in the bridal chamber. On Earth is where it's happening. That's where the action is, right? And we've got to define everything. Otherwise, we're dead. And that's the great enigma. Okay, so night, I saw rather interesting in the, because when we want to be knighted,
Oh,
we could
with the
see.
silent K. Yes.
You're right. Uh huh. Which then we see in a rather interesting word, which literally means,
Oh, I saw something just then too. Don't let me
okay,
forget. Don't let me forget.
okay, hang in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Falling off my chair. Does it?
There it is. Okay, so night is the K-night, the
That's
silent K.
exactly what I was thinking. Thank you.
Yeah. Canine, right? Is the
Thank
dogs.
you.
They're the dogs of Cain, the priesthood. Remember with the chimera? Do you have the
Yeah.
picture of the chimera? Do you have
I
the
do.
chimera? Can you
I
pull it
do.
up?
I'll just
Pull it
find
up.
it.
All right.
Please
Yeah.
continue
You
while
see?
I look.
All right. Yeah. And so then out of let's go to another form, root form of the word Cain then, and we see it in this word can, but there is no C. Remember we talked on the other program, there is no C. So what's going on? How can we fix that? Okay, there's the chimera out of Revelations. I think it's 13 2 through 4. It's the beast that's defined, and the wound on the neck, the animal with the wound on its neck, the goat, and represents the occult societies and the government, and for forgive the term, but the bastards, the versus the pure, and the feet are not the feet of a bear; they are the feet of a dog, and you can see it's even a dog's posture. It's even got a dog's posture when it's a lion. When the front of it is an African lion, and the sleek body is that of a leopard.
Yeah.
All of these animals are there, and then the fish scales are on the very top because they on the surface they want to look like they're fish heads, because they don't want you to know it's a serpent cult. Okay, but so anyway, I'm on this word now in can, because can is remember there's no C, so we see in the word can, G-A-N, which then correctly is G-A-N-N, which then we find the word G-A-I-N, which then is again the original word for G-A-Y-N-N, which literally means R-O-M, the G-A-R-D-E-N. Okay, so when you have the cans on your shelf, what do you got in your cans? You got food, right? You got
Yep.
vegetables, typically, right?
Yep.
From the garden. So can is gan, meaning from the garden. And if you look in your Strong's Concordance, the abbreviated form, because they abbreviate all our words, is gan. That's garden, but yet it is correctly gain. And there you see, what do you get when you have more cans? You got the gain of the produce. You got more, and so the gain is the original word for garden, and then it means the golden eye at high noon, because the two ends together are the primary vowels for the noontime. So gain literally means the golden eye at noon. That's what the garden does, right? At high noon, perfect light coming down, growing the garden. The golden eye at high noon. I just saw that for the first time, I think, ever. Gain, G-A-Y-N-N, which is the gain of produce, and it is the golden eye at high N-O-O-N. Okay, so that's what that literally means, So when I come back and do the review, I'll write that down. I don't want to stop now, but so you see how in the word we use all of our life,
Yeah.
can, and
Yep.
we think it means the metal object, and it doesn't mean the metal object. It means what's inside of it, right? It's the produce of the garden, the gan. That's so you see how the primitives would have talked, right?
Wow.
You want some garden? Here's some
So
garden.
the words are still sorry. The
I'm
words are
not giving you a
still
tin. I'm not giving you a tin
dis.
can.
Yeah.
I'm giving you what's in it.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
the garden.
But
Yeah.
the corrupted words are still describing something. Like, you know how uh, oh, I can't think at the moment, Desert. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, notice that
I'm
the word
seeing things,
Cain.
but I can't
Okay.
explain. Yeah,
Right. But notice that the word Cain then is, get this. This is an important aspect of
I
this
can
great
see.
mystery,
Yeah, I can
right?
see the duality. Yeah,
Okay. Well, the Cain is then Gain, and so then it is really correctly Gayinn. And so literally we see here that the word Cain is synonymous with the garden. And so the garden itself is the gain. It is the Cain. It is the problem because it is the illusory world of deception. And
yeah,
that's what causes us to go on the front line to run against lead and bombs without a shield and say, go take out that pillbox way up there on the mountain after you run across the beach for 200 yards. The perfect killing field is what they created because it's just an insane world. But so
yeah,
Cain is about the psychology of where we are in the garden, because in the garden we're in a maze, we're in amazement, and yet we want to go to fairyland theme parks and rides and have entertainment and have a lot of fun, but we never really want to know who we are, where we are, when we are, or why we are, because that'd be too hard to try to figure out. Then I'm just counting on that Freemason at the bullpit every Sunday to be not lying to me. He wouldn't do that, would he? No, of course not.
Desert. Can I
So,
add
uh,
something to that?
well, sure.
Um, just you always seem to match what I write down before the programs in some
Okay.
way,
Okay.
which just proves that everything is connected and
Right. Where we
yeah,
got synergy going on here, and then the Father's behind it. You
yeah,
know.
it's
Right. Absolutely.
beautiful.
And it
Um,
shows the harmony and the symmetry of what we're
yes,
dealing with.
yes, thank you. Um, I wrote down the word music, and that made me think of Muse. You remember
Uh-huh.
that? Remember Xanadu, the movie Xanadu?
I didn't see it, but I remember the word.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Muse. Yeah, Olivia Newton-John was the Muse. Um,
Okay.
yeah. If trying to think correctly how to describe a muse, inspiration. They're there for inspiration. Is the best way
Yeah.
I can put it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But muse made me think of amusement, and that led me to amusement park, which is where you touched on just then. So,
Mm-hmm.
what do you
Mm-hmm.
think of all that?
Well, great. And forgive me, I was congratulating Jed on seeing grain and gain, and I was multitasking, and I heard what you said, but repeat the
Yeah,
bottom line. I'm sorry.
I know what I can relate to the multitasking. Does it?
I know we're
Um,
both dyslexic anyway, so go
yeah.
ahead.
Music, muse, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
amuse.
Oh,
Amuse
okay.
is there for
Yeah. Well, the
inspiration
muse.
and stuff, but
Right. Yeah.
amusement
Yeah.
park, um,
Right.
is what
Right. It's
you
the play.
referring to. Yeah.
Right. So the muse. Um,
And music is
it's well.
entertainment. Yeah.
Okay, but listen,
Sorry.
the prime suffix you can also hear in the word fuse. You see, so fuse is the use, the ooze, as in um, something that comes forth. In the ooze, we say something oozes out. So there's more to it. That you're on the trail. You just have to then start writing your tree. Your
Yeah.
tree that
Yeah.
connects everything together, because that's what happens.
Yes. Yes. Because I'm
You
starting
know.
to see more and
Right.
more in it now.
Right. It's amusing, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an amusement. It's right. And so the muse, the M is the mother again. So there's the female, because it's in a material world. That we're having a physical experience as a spiritual being, and then and then you also hear the word use. So
Yes.
fuse and use. So the ooze therefore is a something to do with power, right? Because you're moving, there's movement, and we know with the fuse, it's a power box, it's a fuse box. So Yeah, all these things are going on. Sure. Okay.
Yep.
And so we
Thank you.
continue. Are we good? Right.
Yes.
And while you got Chimera up there, I might as well then and the scripture, the scripture. Let me just pull out my scriptures here real quick, and so we can
Okie
get it on the
dokie. Do you mind if
there.
I put the other Chimera graphic up?
Well, no, I don't know what other Chimera graphic. What are you talking about?
I've still got the one for Cosmic, where it's got the moon in there as well.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's fine. Because yeah, that's the same image, but it's just smaller with the other features. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. All right. So yeah, I just want to define it here. So chapter 13. Okay, so I'll start in with first verse, chapter 13 of Revelations. And I stood on the sand of the shore, and see that's symbolic of standing on the shores of eternity. Okay, so I
Yeah.
stood on the shores of eternity, you could say that. And I saw a wild beast rise up out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads, and upon his horns 10 crowns. And those were the governments that were working with the Vatican, in league with the Vatican back in the past for the Roman Empire. And upon his head, the blasphemous words. And the wild beast which I saw was like a leopard, and his feet, and that's the body. The Yeah, and you're creating Lucifer moon, but that body you see is sleek like a leopard. It's not like an African lion. The face is, but not the body. And his feet were like the feet. It says bear, but it's really the feet of a dog. The legs of a dog, the posture of a dog, even. And his mouth like the mouth of a lion. There's your African lion. And the dragon, there's that serpent tail, gave power, gave him power. How? He's biting on the horn, the symbol of power. And his throne um, and gave him power and his throne and great authority. And so who is it who's getting the great authority? The goat, because the goat is the same word as toga, showing that he represents royalty. That's why all the Masons love Baphomet and the goat. You see, they're not lambs, they're not sheep, they are goats, and they'll hit you in the back when your back's turned on them. In one of the goats, as you can see there, that one of the heads, that's the goat, was and one of his heads was as though mortally wounded. You see, it's bleeding. The blood's coming off the wound on the neck, and his deadly wound was healed. How? By the serpent biting on his horn, because the serpent, it continues to get power generationally, one after another, after another, after another. Just like one Caesar, then another Caesar. Now it's a pope. It's another pope. It's another pope. There's no end to their getting power. They die, they come back. They die, they come back as a generation continually. And so all the world wondered, all the world wondered. That's what they do with the Pope and the Vatican, right? Oh, the Pope and the Vatican. Let's bow down and kiss his ring and his big toe. Isn't the Pope beautiful in his little Pope mobile? And and so they all wondered after the beast. Yes. Does anybody like the beast? Look at that Vatican. Look at all that gold and all that tinsel and all that treasure and all that. Oh, I know who could build a building like this. Got everybody mesmerized. And I can't get over what part of they burned, like 5 to 10 million people over the last 2,000 years at the stake. Don't they get? They're going to be a part of that system. Jeez, and all the pedophilia and everything else going on. So, but the Chimera then, Chimera came. Let me type it in here. Then I'll just do it. So, what happened? Oh, okay, I'm all right. All right. And
Okay.
the Chimera, Chimera. So there's the word mirror, and there's the word camera in chimera, and I put a bad C on that. I just gotta stop that. Chimera, then becomes Khayamara, which and chimera backwards is Aramaic, Aramaic. And so they're telling us in the creation of this element of creation that chimera is the picture of life, and so is Aramaic. Aramaic is the Picture of Life. Okay, it's the picture of life. The picture of life. That's what Aramaic is. That's what we're talking about, right? Every time we talk about words, we talk about images, right? Ninja?
Yes.
Pictures.
Yes.
And typically it goes back to the light, goes back to the sun, but then it talks about the serpent, then it talks about the lightning, then it talks about the tree, then it talks about all the different elements in nature, the sphere, that which goes round. The flat earthers hate that one, of course. and but that's okay. We're going to keep going around with it, okay?
Yeah.
Because we got nothing better to do than to talk about everything came out of the light. Everything. It's not some little basketball up there. There's so much power coming out of that sun that it can run everything on Earth. 1 hour of daylight can run everything on Earth for the next year. There's so much that's going past us. So life, we saw in the word Vatican, the word life, Life, which we see is Vita, Vita, which we see is Veda, Veda, which is the ancient, but it is correctly Vatay, which then really is the serpent's eye, which correctly is spelled AY. Okay, so literally life, vita in the Latin, like in vitamin. You can see in a vitamin, it means the center of life in that sense. But you can see the alphabet is there. The TA is the alphabet backwards because we're a reverse image of the light. And so Vita, then Veda is the books on life of the most ancient scriptures out of India, which have the swastika on it on the cover. And then, but we see the prime root in the original thought as the Vete, the Vete. Therefore, what is the Vete? That's the original then word for life, the Vate. And it means literally the serpent's eye. So I put a question mark. It should have been a / on that. But the I is A. You have A's. You don't have I's. You have A's. Because that's the first letter of the alphabet. That's the first thing Orion's pointing at is the A. The pyramid, the projection of light from infinity. You came to infinity. You're going. But the question is where? And so, so the serpent. So life is defined in the original thought as the serpent's eye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're in the serpent's eye. You are looking through the serpent's eye. Rather profound knowledge, carnal knowledge, Ninja, right?
Thank you, Desert. You made me see something. Wow.
Okay.
I'm just typing it
All
so
right.
that I can remember.
Okay. And Jet split it apart, and she saw Vatican. Yeah, because we defined Vatican the other day. Jet, you were probably here, I bet you, but you got it. The Fata, yeah, and there's the Gan is the garden, the life in the garden. Remember we talked about it. The life in the garden is Vatican, but what the question was, what kind of garden is it, right? And we defined the word garden, not in the original Aramaic, but in the modern garden means the sounds of war, the sounds of war, and that's their idea of being in the garden. They love the smell, just like flower, Flower, is flow of war. Flower, that's the kind of flowers they like. The smell of napalm in the morning, and the blast of gunpowder. There's your flow of war, the flower. Isn't it sweet, Perpetual war on planet Earth. Keep the slaves busy so they'll never figure anything out. What?
Look at the comment above yours.
Okay, the pure white freesia, the flower that you talked about today. Right, that appeared in my backyard, a sign Freesia, right? Free. Well, it could actually be Freyasia.
And that's that's why I wowed so much, because I thought it was like.
So what it literally means is the woman of the royal eye. That's what it means. Okay. The woman of the royal eye. Go ahead. The Frey.
I was seeing that as, like, with my struggle at the moment. I already saw that as positive. When the flower appeared, but now I see that as because I want to be free, and that's also the first 3 letters of my real name, or the name that I was given when I was born into this world. So I see that as more of a sign now. Do you see what I'm saying?
Sure. Well, there it is. See, I just defined it. Freyasia is, because Frey is the most correct form of the word Fey. I always leave out the R because I don't want to lose people, so I stay with Fey. But correctly, it is Frey. There's the fray of the fire. And so it literally Freyasia then is the woman's royal eye of creation. That's the flower. You see, and it's a sphere. Notice that it looks a bit like a sphere, doesn't it? If I remember the picture.
Yeah, I can put it up. I can put it up.
Well, you can. That's fine.
Okay,
And
I'll
so
just go
I
to a
got.
black screen for a second. You can.
I'm running out of cards now. I'm on the last circuit here, and so we got
Okay.
election, and election is again we have to replace the E with the A because that's the game that they played. Election, which then is Alation, which literally means the father's action, right? The al action, the al action, the al. So in other words, see in the election, which is so that we can vote the next whore in, right? We're going to get another whore,
Yep.
like Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton, all of them whores. Um, and so what they're doing in the code is that when we say election, it's really the election, and therefore it's the father's action. Oh, they're blaming the father for the trouble we're in. You see, when it's the woman, right? The whore, but they're saying it's the father's action. It's the al action. And so it's that black sun again. It's again the occultic trick of words, just like toilet means pretend light, or awake means a funeral. So do you really want to be awake? Or you don't. Why do you want to say good morning to somebody in which they have a funeral in their family? How about the more gain? It's the more gain. I want more of the garden, another opportunity to know something, to to be set free from this insane world, and all these negative words. They're endless. I write them down, I catalog them, and
Yeah.
um, but and we got a black screen again. There's the
Yeah.
light.
I'm
Okay, they would
looking.
call that light,
I'm looking
and
for the freezer.
it's not good for broadcasting. So
I know.
can you? All right. So, okay, then the next one is Germanic, and we talk about the Indo-Germanic mother tongue. And so, what's interesting about the word, in other words, they don't call themselves Germans in Germany, okay, and they don't call it Germany either, okay. That's in America. That's maybe down in Australia they use that terminology, but in Germany they call it Deutschland, okay. D and therefore and they speak Deutsch, but yet the word
Okay.
Deutsch is really Deutsch. The D and the T switch out as we talked about, and it's Torch. Okay, and so, so that's interesting in that terminology. But yet we use Germanic as the derivative of that supposedly, but it's not. But literally, you can see the word germ and um, and then wrong one. Then moon and ich for darkness. Okay, but so literally, what the implication is in the germ, which is seed, German seed, and seed of the moon. There's that son of man. There's where we get that the same terminology, son of man, in our scriptures means the seed of the moon, the germ of the moon in the darkness. See, they got ik there as well, so it's occultic by nature, and it literally means the one the one secret seed, okay? The one secret seed. So that's all. Now the Aryans are saying they're the torch. So when you see the Statue of Liberty, notice that she's holding a book in one hand, but she's holding up a torch in the other hand. And so the torch represents Aryanism. It represents Aryanism, the torch of the Aryan race. They're carrying the ball. They're the ones who are running the world, the unseen hand. They're running the show. They got us. We got to go back to a graphic, Ninja, if you can't. This is
Yeah, I
not good
can't
for
find it
broadcasting.
fast
Okay.
enough. I can't remember
Yeah.
where I put it.
Let's go back to a graphic. Okay.
Yep.
And so non. So in the word non, I took another look at that when we were talking about it the other day, and so I got it more clearly now. Non is void, and then noon with two O's then is okay. So you take out the two O's represent sun and moon for creation. At high noon you got perfect creation. At high noon, the two O's representing sun and moon, and then but so non means void because you took out one O, and so high noon means everything because that's the apex, that's the zenith. Okay, Um, the jawline is highly masculine. In what, Jed? I don't. Missing something in there. Okay, and so wage. I'm going to write this. So we talked about the vegetable thing about wage
Yeah.
table, right?
Yep.
And so literally, so wage. So vegetable is, and it literally means, and so the and so wage by itself, then wage as in veja, as in do it like this, vega, and the correctly vayg, then is literally means star age. Okay, and more correctly, or another way of saying it is day star. So your wage is your day star. You see, you're in other words, you earn something. Now you can go buy the produce, take it home, and make some food, right? So it's the star age or the day star for that age. The age meaning one day, right? Your wage is for one day. A laborer is worthy of his wages, and they got paid
Wow.
daily. That's what they had to get back then. Not once a week, every day, because they had to feed their families, and
Yeah.
there was more primitive time. And so that we have the story of the man at the end of the day gave everybody a coin, and he says it, and then the people that worked all day long begrudged the other people who got paid for 1 hour, right? The people say, hey, you paid them the same way. What's going on? Says what I do with my money's my business. And so that's what the father was telling us, that if we come into this knowledge late, Ninja, like you might feel, but you really haven't, and others, they
Oh,
come in
thank you.
like maybe they're not worthy. Well, what the father
Yeah.
is telling us in the story is whether you came in and worked through the heat of the day, 12 hours, or you came in the last hour, I'm going to give you the same payment. Okay. Same payment. Okay. That's the payment of light, the day wage. Right. And that's
Wow.
probably an element that was lost there, the day star. I'm giving you the day star. That's what it would have meant. Is it not? Am I not right in giving you the day star? Just like I gave the other the day star. Do you see that?
I
Major
see that.
revelation. Major.
Thank
I'm
you.
seeing it. Wow. Wow. There's
Wow,
original
desert's
thought.
wowing. I
See?
love it when you wow.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
well, you see, because the discussion is bringing it on. I had it
Yeah.
on my card. I had it written down, but now I'm seeing that I didn't think of the scripture. When I was telling you the scripture, I realized that that's what he was saying. And
Yeah.
am I not right in giving the day star to them just like I gave the day star to you? You know,
Yes.
the sun, the light, back to the light. Everybody, he wants everybody to go. So what? We've been stupid for 50 years, right? The good news is we don't have to be stupid anymore, right? And
Yeah.
we can
It does.
wake up.
Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you. It doesn't matter when you come to know the truth.
Right.
Everybody
Yeah.
gets the same.
You learned
Yeah.
about it a year ago. You've been running with it ever since, and you've been producing for Yeshua. And even though you're not a star navigator, which became corrupted as prophet, but so you're not. He's using me as a star navigator clearly. And so the point is that the same reward I'm going to get, that I want to get, is the same one you're going to get, even though you're not a star navigator, but you are a worker. You're working in the field. You're doing your part, the part that was given to you. So you get the same reward that everybody else gets, no matter who they are. You see, that's all. He just gave us different responsibilities, so he requires more of me, for all that he's given me, right? So I mean, I got a big yoke on my shoulders, of light, the burden of light. And but the good news is it's exciting. It's to reveal the ancient, the original thought, to literally be, like David going against Goliath. Nobody, not only don't people know, they don't even care.
Yeah. That's
They
where.
don't
That's.
even.
Yep. That's where it's
Don't
got
bore me
to.
with the facts.
Yeah.
Just give me the fiction, please. I want to keep my King James, and I would just want to quote scripture all day long. Jesus loves me, yes I know, for the Bible tells me so. And and that's all they're ever going to have, is a little quote. And and that's not enlightenment. That's not transcendence. I mean, if they don't know they're being lied to, how can they be enlightened?
Yeah. Are
Forgive
you
me.
there?
I'm finished. finishing my drink.
Oh, okay. I thought Skype might have had enough. Yeah.
Four cards left. Four cards. We're down to the wire. And don't forget, if you have a comment or question, just put the name in all capital letters, my name, Desert, and then put your comment or question in upper and lower case, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be taking calls in the future. I've really wanted a caller-generated program. I feel like I do all the talking, and I know you're listening, and that's the good news. We have our regular group of friends who keep coming back because they know Desert's onto something here, and because it's definable.
Yes.
It's definable. It works because they designed it that way. It's
Yes.
their machination. But yet I know the Father was also behind it. He used them. They're the scapegoat. They're that proverbial scapegoat with the wound on its neck, on the back of the lion. Oh, on the back of the lion. The lion represents Yeshua. So the goat is
Wow.
on the back of the lion. Get it? Symbolism, right? It's like telling us now, right, that was his game. That all along that he was going to use somebody and let them be stupid to the max, and to think they're going to conquer the world and enslave everyone, when the bottom line is they're the scapegoat on the back of the lion, right? The
Wow.
scapegoat. And they're going to dirt. They're never going to transcend. And they're probably going somewhere naked, like in outer space with their spirit. And they're never going to be able to put on the clothes of light. And so they're going to be pretty cold out there in the void of space, which is void, symbolic of the void of their minds. That could have been worth something. Instead, they just wanted to have pleasure, and prestige and power and a big gun on their hip, or a big bank account, or
And that's
a
why
big
the
automobile.
that's why the serpent tail there is attached to the goat on the back of the lion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The tail is at the end, but it's also at the beginning. Remember, the serpent is everything. So the serpent is okay, like a tail is a story, right? There's a story in the tail, and in the tail we find the serpent everywhere. Everything is serpent, and
Yeah.
so okay, so we're on the. So we talked about the plane the other day. Remember when I said, "Is it
Yep.
what goes up in the air?" And it's not a plane, because the plane is where the air is where the aircraft goes, right? And so I looked at that word plane again, and so Plane, then also Plain, two forms of the same word
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
So, but what we find is what we get in that idea um, is, and also uh, then vacant. What did I do? Spell plane wrong? Plane. I got the wrong letter there. And then simple and vacant. Okay. So notice one thing that's interesting about a plane, in contrast, like with the mountain, right? It's pretty simple, right? In other words, the plane is like flat and smooth in a way, right? That's what we think of, right? As a plane. Like
Yes.
like when you take the carpenter's tool, it's a plane, right? You're smoothing out the wood, right?
Yep.
And so the plane therefore is simple or vacant, like the sky. That's why that's the higher plane. No obstructions, right? It's just up there, and it's void, it's vast. And then so the same with the on the ground. A plain is like a field, and there's no trees, and it's smooth. And so there's another element of that. But I just wanted to show how there's another way of looking at something in this original thought. Okay. And then we did I'm going to do this one first. Bethel. So again, how we have the corrupt spellings. And so Bethel, Bethel, is then we would, in the original thought, spell it Vathol, which then literally means the okay. And so what's interesting is that it says Bethel was formerly called Luz, okay, Luz, which means light, okay, and so therefore if it was originally called Luz, it's telling us the story. It's saying, okay, originally, originally, like we're talking original thought. So Vathul, so then the serpent breath and the owl, or the serpent owl, then is the light at the primary core in the original thought, in the logo. It is the serpent, it is the owl, and everything comes out of it. And then, an owl creates an owl, right? A serpent creates a serpent, and a creation is a creation, right? And it's all serpent. And because it is designed with a structure and a fabric of symbols that allows us to therefore communicate with each other, but even then, if we get the code, to communicate with the one who made the symbol. Get it?
Yes.
To communicate with him, because he's trying to communicate with who? Us.
Yes.
Right? With the
Yes.
symbol.
Yes, we
With the symbol.
communicate through the symbol is uh I can't speak right now, Desert. Sorry.
That's
We
all right.
communicate through the symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like we communicate
In-
through Yeshua
yeah. And in
to the
fact,
Great Father.
that's right. And in
Yeah.
fact, just like I got to talk to your serpent, even though I really want to talk to you, I got to deal with your serpent all the time, right?
Yes.
Right? You got to deal with my serpent, right? Right. One serpent to another, and we're trying to get with the spirit, and at the same time, we got a serpent we got to deal with. Oh, I'm kind of tired. I don't know if I want to do this today, serpent. What about you? Yeah, my serpent's pretty tired too. I'm telling you. I think I want to put him to rest.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
mine's
you know,
pretty tired right now, as you
I
can
bet.
probably hear in my uh yeah,
Yeah. Two more
ramblings
words to
right
go.
now.
Two
Um,
more.
Two more. Okay, please continue.
Uh,
I'm
or
still
two.
still soaking it up. Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm going to just do these verbally, I guess. Okay, so we remember that when I defined, well, no, I got to write this. This is too good, okay, because we're at the end of the road here. I'm gonna save that one for last. Okay, so Elohim, we hear this word all the time, and it's important to define.
Yep.
Elohim, which is correctly L. There's that owl again. Love, Lov, Haym, which then actually means my. It's personalized as if it's the Father speaking. My of enlightened, Enlyghthened. I of. Did I write that down? Yeah. Okay. I of enlightened, Lyg. It's telling me I'm spelling it wrong. Of enlightened. Okay, I got it. Love for the Many. Okay. So Elohim, which is the sun, which is the moon, which is the earth, which is the stars, which are the creation, the animals, and the only one lacking is man, because he fell into the darkness. Nature is doing its job. The animals do their job. They're not, in darkness the way man is, because
Yeah.
man is cruel.
Yeah.
Man is malicious. Man is psychopathic. That's not the nature of animals. And so man is the only one that's not filling his shoes properly. But in spite of that, the Elohim came with the eye of enlightened love for the many. And that's why it provides us such beautiful nature and substance that we can, build houses and have gardens and go places and do, it's a divine love. There's the word love. That's where it comes from. Ulafhaim. And we find it in the word yellow, yah, and, the love in the yah love. And so what we have then is, to cap it off here for the program today, we've gone over 3 hours, it looks like. So we're keeping our par going. But in the aspect of when I was trying to define well, well was Well, and then I saw it when I compared all the different primitive Germanic tongues, and I found it was Vat, VH, right? The Vat, VHAT, then TZOR, and then amazingly, when I was doing the broadcast, I found out it was right in my face, and how did I miss it? Because I always back engineer to the Indo-Germanic, but I rarely interpret from the Indo-Germanic to the modern, going in the opposite direction. I'm going back, and all of a sudden I had one that was there, and I didn't see it until we were talking about it, and then all of a sudden I saw it there was in my face, WAT. Okay, and it literally means the power of the light, or we could say, and we'll just slash it, what a way to end the program, Ninja. The cosmic essence, right? That a well was defined originally in the original thought as Vatsor, and so it's not the well, it's what's in the well, just like it's not the can, it's what's in the can, right? The garden, and so what's in the well? It's the water, and it literally means the power of the cosmic light, or the essence, because it is a current. The current continues to flow in the well, the cosmic essence. And you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope this sinks in for some of you that come back later on and listen. I know a lot of people listen after the live broadcast, and I know it's a lot to absorb. But man, there's that Vot. So the Vot, the VHAT, then we find it in modern in WAT, right? Or two T's. Is it two T's, or the Watt is one? I think, right? The Watt. It's like, it has to do with electricity.
It's
I
two
don't, I'm not a
T's. Two T's.
T's,
Yep.
WATT. Okay. Yeah. So how many watts is your light bulb, right? How many
Yeah.
watts? So it has something, yeah, something to do with the measurement of current. And so anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. And we just completed an eight-part series on both Forbidden History Archive and on NinjaCat, and we're going to be posting this series on the Cosmic Essence, so that on a playlist, and also on the home video page, so that we can make it available as a separate item that people can immediately find. You can lead them to that particular page and that channel. Okay, the Cosmic Essence is where we'll be filing both programs from both different channels as one. Okay, and we're swinging, we're hitting home runs. If you're not up to speed yet, but we're literally defining things in a way on planet Earth the way nobody else is. It's a fact. This is beyond university, because university, they they're on the merry-go-round of deception and dogma. The dogma that's under the control of the Vatican, and so they only teach us so much, and they teach us false narratives, just like we taught here that they reverse everything. Everything's a reversal. They reversed the matrix and reversed it, and again, so it's a reversal of a reversal. And yet, so they're pretenders of light, but they're still mother sons of darkness, no matter how you look at it. And so I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I know about me what I want, because I've been pursuing this knowledge all my life. And so, bottom line is, if you want to know the future, your future, by the way, then you need to look for the Forbidden History archive, and also Forbidden History series on NinjaCat, because it's what they didn't want you to know.
That we tell right here. Sorry, I'm a bit
Because
delayed.
somebody's got to do it, right, Ninja?
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Yes.
We're doing it. The Father's work. He's the one who gives light. We were all in the darkness starting out. The light is shining for us. We need to follow it. We need to go somewhere we've never been before, because we're going somewhere we've never been before. Okay?
I
And we're
can't
leaving
wait.
this bridge,
Yeah.
this Levi, this levee, because Levi is levee. You see, there's the levee that holds the water back. But the flood is coming, ladies and gentlemen, and it's what they didn't want you to know, and you're going to get it, whether you like it or not, if you tune in when we're live on the broadcast. So, NinjaCat, and thank you, Teresa, for the hearts, and you're hanging in there with us, okay, and all of you out there, and thank you, Ninja, for being the pitch hitter and the grand slammer on NinjaCat, because I couldn't have done it without you. And you've gone from 3 out of 4 programs failing when we first started to now just doing stellar broadcasts. Here we are in a very unique time. 2020 vision's what we got to have, because it looks like 2020 is the year that we're gonna all wish never came. And I've been watching this for a long time, and it's really sad, ladies and gentlemen. So, okay, I'm Dezert-Owl. Thanking you for tuning in, and back to NinjaCat. Ninja, thank you, and we'll see you on the other side. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Thank you,
Hope to
Desert.
see you on the other side. Anyway.
Thanks. Thank Thank you. Wow. Wow. Okay. What Desert said. Ditto to all of that. I love you guys. Thank you for joining. Please be safe out there. And what day is it? Please tune in on Sunday at Forbidden History Archive for the next live stream. You won't hear this anywhere else. It's amazing. Um, okay, I'm just going to. I'm scrolling, sorry. It's like, what time is it? You don't want to know. 6 a.m. Okay, sorry. Alright, be safe out there, guys. Creating light for you always. And thank you so much, Desert. Thank you guys for your input in the chat. And I'll see you guys later. We'll just put this up for a little bit while I find some music.